and do things the right way. And the fact that Brian has done a great job, and last year they played us really tough, or it was only 7-0, and it was a great game, so I expect this one to be pretty much like last year, and the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to walk away with a victory.
When I think of Norcross, coming off the L last year, we lost to them 0-7. It was a tough loss. You know, I say we just ready for this year, come out harder, coach well, and just come out ready to ball.
When I think of South Gwinnett, I think of a hard-nosed team. You know, they playing good ball right now. They got good athletes on their defense. They got some good defensive backs. They don't really got much weak links. So, I mean, we just got to take our matchups. We got to take what they give us, and then we got to get the running game involved. We got to get our O-line protecting our QB making throws, receivers making catches. You know, we've been making a lot of small mistakes, but we just got to pick up. You know, should be a good game for us.
They're a team that can get after it. They got some dominant players. They just have a team full of players that can make plays, and we just gotta slow them down.
When I think of South Gwinnett, I feel like it's gonna be a dogfight. I know they're not gonna give up, knowing they're 4-0. So knowing that, we're gonna come out and give them what they want, a dogfight.
What makes Norcross a really good team is that they're extremely well coached. They have phenomenal players. They have tradition, so they have a lot of things on their side. You know, you can have a really good coach and not have great players and struggle. You can have a place that has great tradition of winning, but might have had coaching changes and stuff like that. But this place has it all. They have tradition. They have players that work hard. They have coaches that hold them accountable, and they got really talented kids.
Last year we beat South Gwinnett 7-0. You know, a couple things different this year. South Gwinnett, they have a better team coming back, in my opinion. But we got a whole lot better. We got our whole line returning. And last year we were playing and we were going through our QB situation. We switched QBs twice throughout the game. Now we got our guy, we found our guy. So, I mean, we got a whole lot more confidence coming into the game, but so do they. So it's just gonna come down to who take care of the moment better and who gonna make plays.
What makes South Gwinnett such a good team is they really play hard-nosed defense. They've got two really good defensive ends that play hard, number 21 and number 36. And they've got, you know, skilled people that can run around, and offensively, they're doing things to win ball games. And that's at this point why they're 4-0. And it's a big game for both of us for the fact that, you know, we got to continue to get better.
The keys to scoring on Norcross' defense is really just executing everything from O-line to me being the quarterback, me making the right reads, the right throws, being sharp with everything. Receivers getting open, making the right cuts, getting off the line, and the O-line just dominating, getting after every play.
I feel like the keys to stopping South Gwinnett's offense from scoring is 11 hands to the ball, game tackling, and working as a team on the defensive side. I feel like if we all get there and wrap up the play, there's no doubt they're going to score on us.
The keys for stopping Norcross from scoring, honestly, is just staying over routes, you know what I'm saying, knowing our assignments, getting our line up fast and getting ready to go, and just make sure keeping everything in front of us so we just get after play by play.
The key to scoring on South defense is getting the run game. Definitely a lot of run game, blocking the corners. So
the difference between last year's team and this year's team is just experience. You know, last year was our first year here as a staff. We were establishing culture, just trying to do some things differently than had been done here before. And it's a growing process. Those kids have to learn. It's not that it's better or worse or any type of deal like that. It was just new to them. And so from offensive schemes to defensive schemes to the way we wanted them to practice and conduct themselves, all of that stuff was new to those kids. So this year we come back and we have some kids that went through that process. We're still learning, we're still growing, but we're much further ahead than we were last year. And so we lost a tough game to these guys last year, you know, a 7-0 game, but you know, they've got a lot of guys back as well who have gotten better in the offseason. So it's going to be a tremendous challenge, but again, hopefully we're up to it.
The keys to winning this game is we cannot have turnovers, and we got to limit their opportunities on offense, and we've got to execute offensively and get the ball to our playmakers that we have on offense and let them do their thing. And special teams, we've got to keep them pinned back and make them drive the field and, you know, make tackles on kickoff. But kickoff's been our Achilles heel earlier in the year. We've gotten better at it, and we got to continue to do that also moving down the season.
The keys to winning this game are twofold. One, we've got to do a great job of executing. We've got to do a great job of being focused for 4 quarters. Like, those are the deals. Like, we can start fast and then end slow. We can start slow and then end fast. We got to put 4 quarters together to be able to beat this team. Again, they're going to be extremely well coached. They're very talented, and they know how to win. So we're going to have our hands full on Friday night. But the kids are working hard, and hopefully we'll be up to the task on Friday.
Hey, man, we big game ready.
I'm big game ready. In New South, we big game ready.
Big game ready.
I'm big game ready, and me and the guys big game ready. See y'all Friday.
I'm big game ready, and we ready. Let's do this.
Big game ready, Norcross versus South Gwinnett. The Blue Devils will be ready.
And the Norcross Blue Devils. Eric Tiongson here alongside my partner Colin Ohms, and we'd like to thank you all for tuning in today from wherever you may be, as it should promise to be another great evening of football. Colin, there's a lot of great players on the field tonight. What are going to be some names to watch for these two teams?
Yeah, thank you, Eric. As you said, a lot of great players. Let's start with the home team, South Gwinnett Comets. The guy to look out for is A.J. Pickford. A.J. Pickford, defensive end, 19 tackles for a loss, 9 sacks, both leading the team by a wide margin. He does it all on the defense, and he is their leading receiver on offense. He is the tight end for the Comets. He's got 7 receptions, 149 yards, 83-yard touchdown there. So he does it all on both sides. Definitely looking out for Pickford. And for Norcross, they have a trio of pass catchers. Have to mention real quick, Nakai Poole's going to Mississippi State. Zion Taylor's going to Georgia Tech. Lawson Lucky committed to UGA. But their quarterback, A.J. Watkins, is also their leading rusher. He's got 39 carries, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns to go along with 3 passing touchdowns. So we got a couple do-it-all guys, quarterback A.J. Watkins for Norcross and A.J. Pickford, a couple A.J.'s on both sides of the field there.
All right, so there you have it. A.J. is the name to watch in what is a highly anticipated contest. Norcross 2-2, 1-0 in 7A, Region 7, and ranked 19th in 7A. While South Gwinnett comes in ranked 20th, and they're 4-0. Their first 4-0 start since 2003. We're underway. Kickoff going to be taken near the 10-yard line and taken up close to the 25 as we're going to get things started here. Coming out to start off is going to be the offense. Trotting out for Norcross, and it's going to be A.J. Watkins. And as Colin mentioned earlier, A.J. Watkins, the leading rusher on this team, he's been a Mr. Do-It-All thus far.
Yes, both of these teams definitely run heavy. The trio of receivers I spoke about at the top of the broadcast all have rushing touchdowns. Poole with 3, Taylor 2, and Lucky has 1 himself. And Eric, you mentioned to me before the show, 6 different players carried a ball for this Norcross team last week.
Not only a strong rushing attack, but a balanced one, as the first snap is going to be high, but taken, grabbed by Watkins as he gives it off up the middle. Going to be a gain of about 3. They rushed for 199 yards as a team and nearly 9.5 yards per carry. That in a 37-0 victory over Discovery on the road.
Yes, and that was Amon's, their starting running back there with the carry. Good start, staying on schedule, down in distance, 2nd and 6.
Amon's averages 5.1 yards per tote on the season. They'll send a man in motion here, second play of the game, and they're going to swing it out wide. That one caught behind the line and wrapped up nicely. That's going to go down as a tackle for loss and bring up 3rd and long.
That was a great tackle there by Aki in New Day. Number 6 there, great read on the screen pass.
Anudi, a standout corner, also has 3 interceptions on the season, leading the team. And just like that, it's 3rd down, and you can hear the horn blaring. Also worth noting that it's homecoming out in South Gwinnett tonight. Great atmosphere here. They had some homecoming festivities before the game, and we've already got a 3rd and long.
Gotta say, they gotta work out that mic. I'm feeling a lot of static.
Poole is the man in motion going into the slot as Watkins drops back. Now he's going to take it himself, running up the middle. He's got the first down and a whole lot more. There goes A.J. Watkins, and he's going to take it all the way. Touchdown, and what an opening statement for the Blue Devils.
And just like I said, the leading rusher, and he shows why. 3rd and 9, and he goes about, what was that? Oh, I hate doing math. 26. It was about a 60-something yard touchdown. 74-yard touchdown. He needed 9. He got 74, went all the way to the house. Thank you to our reporter from the AJC giving us the numbers there.
but great start there for
How
Norcross.
about that? We talked about the rushing attack in pregame, the leading rusher, the quarterback, and showing it right there. And as far as math goes, I always like to say that's why we're up here and not building bridges somewhere.
I was going to say,
Point after try on the way here. 6-0 your score. Quick start for the Blue Devils. Norcross starting their season 0-2, 2 straight wins, beating Archer and then Discovery. And a statement opening drive, as it looks like someone jumping off sides, and they're going to get him for a flag.
Yeah, so that 74-yard touchdown run by Watkins, his previous long 17 yards. So blowing that out of the water, update the stats, 74-yard touchdown. And we're just under 2 minutes into the game. It's already 6-0.
10:23 showing on the clock, and after the penalty, they'll try again for the extra point. And now some more pre-snap movement, and another flag comes in. So we'll have take 3 on the PAT.
You know, I like the intensity, but it's an extra point. Like, what do you really think you're going to accomplish by getting a jump on the snap?
I don't know how much you follow the NFL, but I recall a few years ago a Sunday night football game between the Steelers and the Chargers, and if I'm not mistaken, there were 4 straight offside penalties called on the Steelers as they were trying to jump the snap and block the kick, and now it looks like they're going to be pushed back as it was a false start. So take 3, spot him back about the 15-yard line.
Norcross does have a very good kicker, Drew Duva. He's 13 for 13 so far on PATs.
And knock on wood, as that one is up and good. Duva now 14 for 14 on PATs on the season, and he's been an excellent field goal kicker as well. He went 5 for 5 last season, already 3 for 3 this season on field goals.
Long of 42, so that 5 yards really didn't do much for Duva. You know, high school kickers, you never know, that could play a difference, but Duva definitely one of the better kickers in Georgia high school football. And so 7-0, that was you couldn't have started better if you were South Gwinnett. You got Norcross in a 3rd and long, looking for a 3 and out, get your offense on the field. Then A.J. Watkins does A.J. Watkins things and goes 74 yards for the opening touchdown. Be interesting to see how South Gwinnett recovers. I mean, they are 4-1, but Norcross is one of the blue bloods of Georgia. They know how to win. They've won a lot of games, especially with Coach Keith Maloof. So good test here for South Gwinnett.
Coach Keith Maloof, in his 24th season here as the head coach of Norcross, took over back in 1999. And just to give you a sense of how long that's been, the song atop the charts on This Week back in 1999, Blue by Eiffel 65. And Keith Maloof has been blue ever since then, as in a Norcross Blue Devil. Norcross also with over 200 wins, now at 209 wins, the 64th head coach in GHSA history to hit the 200-win milestone. Kickoff underway after the opening drive touchdown. And it's going to be taken just behind the 10-yard line. Chased out wide, and he'll be wrapped up and hit hard out of bounds at about the 30-yard line, and another flag coming in. So that makes now the 3rd penalty flag thus far, as we are at 10:15, and we'll see what kind of answer that the Comets have for the Blue Devils.
Looks like that might be a legal block. We'll see. That's generally the call on the kickoffs. It was a good return. Probably coming back, though.
Referees are having a mini conference of their own as they talk things out. You can see the Comets huddled up on the near sideline getting ready, but man, you want to talk about an opening statement, homecoming game, rowdy crowd coming in as the road team, and 3 plays and you're up on top 7-0. You have to imagine they might try and take the crowd out of a little bit, but a lot of it is going to hinge on this response right here.
Yeah, it's a tough start. Comets, they won the toss, elected to defer, and, you know, maybe that decision maybe regret that decision a little bit, as Norcross has definitely thrown the first punch of this heavyweight battle. Like you said, both these teams ranked right next to each other. You talked about 7A. If we're going entire state of Georgia, Norcross 46, South Gwinnett ranked 47. So these are, you talk about evenly matched teams. I don't think we could get much more of an evenly matched team according to the rankings.
Well, it was a close game the last time these two teams met, and in fact, it was a similar score, as in the same score. The previous meeting, 7-0 your final score, with Norcross winning, and Norcross, it's worth noting, has won the last 4 meetings. Common offense out now for their first series of the game, and it's going to be a run up the middle for maybe 1 or 2 yards. Trotting out is the quarterback, Nate Miller, and Miller, a great quarterback in his own right, as he came off a career game last week against Decatur. Career-high 3 passing touchdowns and also a career-high 101 rushing yards on 13 carries.
Yes, both of these quarterbacks, the definition of a dual threat. We'll see if Miller, I don't know, it seems like there's always that competition when you're going against your counterpart.
Miller will give it off again up the middle, and another minimal gain as the Blue Devil defense eager to answer the call. And now 3rd down, 3rd and long. Last time we saw it was a touchdown. We'll see what we see right here.
I was going to say exact same situation for South Gwinnett as Norcross found. And, you know, of course, Miller is going to want to match Watson. You know, they're very similar players. So he sees Watson. I'm sure Miller's itching to show what he's got.
9-10 and counting showing on the clock here in the opening quarter. Remember, 12-minute quarters here in the state of Georgia for high school football, and it's going to be a shotgun formation for Miller. 3rd and medium, man in motion as Miller will drop back and swing it out wide. That one going to be caught on the run, turning up towards the sideline, wrapped up near the first down marker, and we'll check on the spot. On the catch, it's going to be Pierre Ford, notching his 6th catch on the season, and that's going to move the chains.
Yeah, that was a great tackle there on the outside by Taiwan Royal, but good enough for the first down. It could have gone a lot more if Royal was unable to make the play.
Fresh set of downs now here, 1st and 10 near the 25. Call it at the 23, and it'll be another handoff up the middle. And again, not much doing right there as the Blue Devil defense has been quick to answer the call in the run game.
Yes, Yes, that was Jay-Sean Appling, the running back. Should be noted, the 2 running backs for South Gwinnett, real small scat back types. Both stand at just 5'9". 185 is Billingsley, 175 is Appling.
Appling has been a nice change of pace back. 2nd on the team in carries and rushing yards, as Miller is going to try and escape out of trouble, carrying it up and gaining a few yards on the scramble. Brings up 3rd down.
That was a great shoestring tackle there by Javion Beecham. Seeing some good one-on-one tackles so far from Norcross against very shifty players on the South Gwinnett side.
And that's something that's going to make any coaching staff in the world very, very happy. Good tackling. It's 3rd and short, call it about 3rd and 4. And now the visiting crowd getting into it a little bit. Miller in the shotgun again. He'll take it himself on the option up the middle, and he's got it and more. Using that big body and falling forward, pointing forward, he's got a 1st down near midfield.
Antonio Mulder on the tackle again. 1 tackle away from taking it to the house, but these Blue Devils are able to make those plays when they need to. And that was not, South Gwinnett was unable to do that, which led to the 74-yard touchdown. Norcross able to make the tackle, but like you said, good enough for a 1st down.
Comets going quick as we approach the 7-minute mark here in the 1st quarter. I mentioned Miller, a big body, standing at 6'4", and certainly not an easy player to bring down in the open field. Another swing pass, that one out wide, and going to be a decent gain on 1st down. Gain of about 6.
And Appling is definitely the receiving running back of the 2 between Billingsley and Appling. Appling, 6 receptions, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns on the season.
That sort of seems to be the approach that's been en vogue in this game these days. Remember going out to Buford last week, and of course they have an Alabama commit in Haynes at running back, but even they like to rotate backs, keep guys fresh, and different backs usually have different skill sets. Shotgun snap again. That one, a give up the middle, and huge hole right there. Best run of the night thus far, as that's going to be good for a 1st down, and there's Appling again.
Appling, pretty much almost even split. Billingsley, we haven't actually seen Billingsley yet. He has 55 carries on the season, 41 for Appling. So it's really a 1A, 1B in the backfield for South Gwinnett.
And the Comets, they'll get to the line quickly, then usually turn towards the sideline for further instruction. Miller getting a few words from his coach, and he'll change alignments. First down snap is high. Miller takes it, swinging it out wide again. There's another swing pass, as that one is going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Make it 2nd and long.
Yeah, that play really didn't look good from the get-go. Timing was off as Miller had to throw it over the head of a defender who was trying to break on the underneath route, so it took a little longer to get out to Carter on the outside. By that time, the defense was on him for no gain on the first down play.
Pass caught by Anthony Carter Jr. For those that hear the name Anthony Carter and think of wide receiver, they might think of one of the Vikings, and I did a little research to see if that was the son of Anthony Carter Jr., as that'll be given out wide, and plenty of space, and that'll be good for a first down. So hold that thought. Nice carry right there by Pierre Ford, and that's going to move the chains.
Yeah, Pierre Ford. South Gwinnett doing what Norcross likes to do and get their receivers involved in the running game. Good drive here by South Gwinnett. A lot more methodical than the 74-yard touchdown run, but hey, result. Now it's the time to get close to the red zone. This is when it gets tougher. This is when you have to execute. Execution, very important down in this part of the field.
You mentioned the contrast of drives. For Norcross, it was 3 plays and pay dirt. For the Comets, this will be their 11th play of the drive. They've been marching. And now it looks like a flag will come in, and it's going to be a false start. Referee snuffing that one out pretty quickly. But to go back to the original thought, the Anthony Carter of the Vikings back in the 80s does have a son named Anthony Carter Jr. who does play football, but he's a linebacker at NC State. This Anthony Carter Jr., a wide receiver in his own right.
No relation. Wow. What? Who would have guessed? That seems like, what are the odds that you could have two Anthony Carter Jr.'s playing football, playing high-level football, one related to a pro, one no relation whatsoever?
First down and 15 now after the false start. Miller in the gun. He'll fake the give. Running out of time quickly. Miller is going to be brought down, and it's the first sack of the game.
That was Javion Beecham getting in there for his first sack of the season. Just clean beating his one-on-one matchup. And after the good start to this drive, Comets are moving backwards, wrong direction, and they are 2nd and believe 20.
2nd and 21 is the word that we're getting. 1st and long becomes 2nd and longer. Shotgun snap for Miller. Staying in the pocket, delivering a strike down to his check down man, and going to get a good chunk of yards back near the original line of scrimmage, set up about 3rd and 12.
Yeah, and that was a tricky catch. If the throw was better, it would have been more able to get run after the catch, but still a great job.
Jalen Lackey on the catch.
Jalen Lackey, yes.
And according to the stats that we have down here, looks to be his first reception on the season. Also seen some time on the defense. A couple of two-way players to watch out for here.
Yeah, wasn't prepared to look out for number 4 there, but that was surprised that was his first catch of the season. He made a nice grab.
3rd down and 13, and another flag coming in.
Yeah, this is
false start.
Not what South Gwinnett wanted. This is going to make the coaches crazy. You drive it all the way down the field. You're doing great. You're in rhythm, and you get penalties. You get a sack, and that just derails any chance of, what do you have for 3rd and 18? There's no play.
You really have to dig deep in the bag here, as this will be the 13th play of the drive. Comets try not to stall out here and at least maybe set themselves up into field goal range. Crowd on their feet once again. Miller in the shotgun, delivering a strike, and he's got a man open. And that's going to make it 4th and a little more manageable, and now all of a sudden it's decision time here for the Comets on the opening drive.
And it looks like they're bringing out their kicking team. That's Eric Calviolo. And Calviolo, not sure what his range is career-wise, but on the season, 3 for 5, as long as 26. This is definitely a lot longer than 26. This will be 10 yards longer, to be exact, a 36-yard attempt.
Kick is on the way. Looks to have the leg, and he got it. Great kick right there, so that'll open the scoring for the Comets. 7-3 your score here with 2:43 remaining in the first quarter. It was an Anthony Carter Jr. catch to set up the field goal.
I was going to say that looked like a very solid kick, and we're getting season highs here. We got a season high kick there for Calviolo, 36 yards, and of course the earlier season high run by A.J. Watson of 74 yards.
So that opening drive for South Gwinnett, 14 plays and pretty balanced attack as well. I'm taking a look at my drive chart. Pretty even split between run and pass. 7 runs and 7 passes to be exact, so right down the middle.
And I just want to go back to that third down play. I was looking at the official because that was very close to being an offensive pass interference. That was a very crafty one of those pick plays. You get the receiver, the clear out route. Ref said it was legal, and hey, if there's no flag on the play, then it's a legal play.
We have seen our fair share of flags thus far, but a lot of it having to do more with pre-snap stuff, such as false starts and offsides. So the home team, the Comets, will kick it off here as we're about ready to start the third drive. And it's been a great first quarter thus far. 7-3 your score with 2:42 and counting. And on the return, taking it up in the middle and has plenty of space. Breaking free, and he is going to be dragged down eventually. No, he still goes. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. Touchdown, Blue Devils. 14-3, just like that.
And that is absolutely deflating. Like you said, they had him, and it was very reminiscent of the A.J. Watkins touchdown run. Just there's the tackling. I don't know what it is. It's not there for South Gwinnett.
They mentioned never give up on the play. Well, they should say that for announcers too, as I thought that Zion Taylor was dead to rights, but running it back all the way for the touchdown.
And so Zion Taylor, he had a punt return touchdown of 57 yards. Now he gets a 99-yard kickoff return touchdown to go with that.
Versatility, that's been the name of the game all season long for the Blue Devils, and it's got them with, at the moment, a 10-point lead, and we'll see after the PAT if that can grow to 11, as we have another stoppage pre-snap, and it looks like another false start.
Okay, so Norcross has had 2 PAT attempts, and we've had 3 pre-snap penalties on those 2 PAT attempts.
You see something new every single day. So take 2 on the PAT. That one is on the way up and good. So 14-3 your score now, 2:26 remaining here in the first quarter after a Zion Taylor kick return touchdown. Ben, a very, very fast-paced start thus far for the Blue Devils. Big plays, that's been what's making the money for them thus far.
I was going to say the first drive, it was a 3-play drive. It took about 90 seconds. And then South Gwinnett goes on a nearly 8-minute drive to get a field goal. And then, of course, no offensive snaps on the kickoff return touchdown. So it's kind of, if you want to go a different sport analogy, it's kind of like, we're going the baseball. You got the team that's playing small ball, getting the bunts, the walks, the strategic hits. And next thing you know, you go on the other end and you're just bombing, just home run bombs. And it's like you do all that work, and then next thing you know, just one swing of the bat, one broken tackle, long play, and all your work is erased. So, gosh, you got to dig deep here if you're South Gwinnett, because that is two big plays, 2 explosive plays in the first quarter is all it is right now for Norcross.
Well, I think kick returners all across the state of Georgia are going to hope that I show up at more of their games, because that is now the second straight broadcast I've done where there's been a kick return touchdown. Last week, DeAndre Buchanan of Carver ran one back, and now this week, Zion Taylor housing one on the kickoff. And we'll see what this kickoff has in store. Once again, 14-3 your score, and a kick return touchdown getting it done to get the extra 7 points for the Blue Devils. And now here's another nice return coming the other way. That one going to be taken up around the 45-yard line. We'll see about the flag.
I was going to say that was such a good return there for South Gwinnett, but we'll have to check the flag. Multiple flags on the field, actually. We'll see if it's the same call.
For South Gwinnett, they had an impressive opening drive that stalled out. They weren't able to salvage some points out of it. 14 plays and getting 3 points. It looks like we also have an injured player down on the field.
Ooh, yeah, good call. I didn't see that. Not quite sure. It looks to be a Norcross player. Should mention both of these teams have almost the exact same color scheme, so that's makes it a little difficult. Of course, one's wearing blue, one's wearing white, but you know, got to remember in the blue, home team, South Gwinnett, Norcross on the visiting side, and that is definitely a Blue Devil. At least I think so. Yeah, we have the Norcross coaching staff around, South Gwinnett trainer coming in to check. But yeah, haven't gotten the call on the penalty yet.
You get the sense, as you mentioned earlier, probably some sort of blocking related penalty, as now it looks like players are going to go down on a knee, and obviously something you certainly don't ever want to see, and we can only hope that whoever's down on the field is all right.
Yeah, this looks bit more serious than initially thought. I will say the kick return, that was a Nidu on the kick return, got it up to the 40. Yeah, and it's definitely, they got the ball at the 30-yard line, so it's definitely a penalty on South Gwinnett, but definitely that is secondary, as the main focus is on the Norcross player currently being tended to.
Now it looks like he has been helped up, as there's a nice round of applause for him. And he'll be helped off to the sideline where he'll be examined by the trainers.
Walking very gingerly, but able to at least walk off, putting weight on whatever the injury is. Obviously, we're not going to speculate, but it's good to see him walking with assistance, but still able to put weight on both feet.
So now the Comets will come back out on offense. They're staring an 11-point deficit in the face. This is an offense that's been averaging 33.5 points per game and allowing only 16 points per game on defense. And they had a big performance last week against Decatur on the road. 31-14, their victory in that one. As we mentioned in pregame, it was the rushing attack getting the job done for the Comets. They'll come out in the shotgun again. And quarterback is going to keep it on the keeper, as Miller takes it up the middle. Good gain on first down.
Number 8, Nate Miller, carry up the middle, over 9 yards.
9-yard rush sets up about 2nd and 1.
Would you be okay if I turn these lights on? Okay.
Shotgun snap again. Handoff up the middle. Going to be a close spot, but it looks to be enough for the first down. 2 plays, 2 runs, and about 10 yards. That's good for a fresh set of chains.
Yeah, and that was Appling again. Have not seen Jay Quinn Billingsley yet, to my recollection. He was listed in the depth chart as the starter, but it has been all Jay Sean Appling so far early in the game.
Appling is also first on the team with 3 rushing touchdowns. We have a score update as well. Colquitt County and Cedar Grove. Cedar Grove leading 3-0 here in the first quarter.
Another carry for Appling. No gain on this play.
So 2nd and 10. 3 straight runs now for the Comets, and they're getting more to that ground attack that we talked about earlier on. 50-50 split on the first drive, and now 3 straight runs. Another score update. Mill Creek versus Parkview in the first quarter. Parkview up on top at home, 7-3 over Mill Creek.
That
Minimal
was
gain there on the run. Not minimal, I should say, but a middling gain that will make it third at about 5.
Yeah, and just
another
back
run.
to the point about these teams run heavy. South Gwinnett averaging about 183 yards rushing, 164 passing, and then very similar 177 rushing for the Blue Devils, only 191 passing. Definitely not used to seeing rushing on par with the passing yardage.
Third down and Appling still in the game as Miller fires a strike over the middle and broken up. Would have been enough for a first down, but a nice play right there to break up the pass. Devin Hunter, and it brings up fourth down.
Devin Hunter's got an offer from Eastern Michigan, the senior 6 foot, 175 strong safety, able to do textbook pass defense on that.
Hunter nearly with an interception. He has 2 on the season and a forced fumble. He's been a takeaway machine thus far for the Blue Devil defense, and it's a defense that gets off the field and is going to turn the ball back over to the offense with a 2-possession lead as the punt team comes out for the Comets. That one punted high into the beautiful evening sky, and it's muffed. Uh-oh. Ball still bouncing around, and it's going to be eventually scooped up by the Comets. A break for South Gwinnett as they recover the muffed punt, and they're well into enemy territory. Ball bouncing around for seemingly an eternity, and finally the punt team able to come up with it. It was Caleb Collins who was able to fall on it, the senior.
So I'm not familiar with this rule, but I'm assuming this is ruled that you're not able to advance a fumble because they've ruled that down at the point of recovery. Caleb Collins was trying to scoop and score, but refs blew it dead at the 29-yard line, which is where the recovery was made. So my thought is, why are you trying to scoop it if the rule is you're going to be blown dead right where you recover it?
Well, I cannot say for 100% certainty, but I do think back to a play would have happened many years ago. The Raiders won a game on a fumble that was batted around, eventually ended up advancing 15 yards and recovered in the end zone. It was known as the Holy Roller and prompted a rule change where you cannot bat a fumbled ball forward and then recover it from the spot. So they blew the play dead. I believe it has something to do with that. It's also worth noting that'll be the end of the first quarter, so a crazy ending to a high-paced first quarter. 14-3 your score. The visitors, the Blue Devils, up on top over the Comets as they will change sides, and the Comets in enemy territory and knocking on the door of the red zone, and you have to imagine they're going to try and take advantage and get some points right here.
Yeah. So despite the odd, well, I'll let you call this play here. Ooh.
As Miller is going to have a screen play. That one dumped off and having some blockers taking it up the middle. Down the sideline, as that looks to be Billingsley, and that's the first time we've called him his name here today. And Billingsley on a screen for a first down.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, despite us conversating about the Holy Roller and scoop and scores, that was a very big momentum swing there for South Gwinnett. It looked like it was on the verge of getting out of hand. Norcross went down and scored 21-3, muff punt, and now we're looking to cut into the lead, make it a one-score game for South Gwinnett.
Just outside the 10-yard line. It'll still be 1st and 10 as Miller will swing it out. And another flag. And you have to imagine a false start, and that's exactly what the referee signals.
And so I don't know if this is an adjustment made for this matchup by South Gwinnett, but usually Appling is the receiving back and Billingsley is the one taking the carries. We've seen a bit of the opposite here so far. Appling definitely the lead back, getting the early down work, and we just saw Billingsley make a great catch on the screen pass to get it down into the red zone, although the pre-snap penalty backs South Gwinnett up a little bit. It'll be 1st and 15.
Billingsley will stay in the game as the back. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Miller sends a man in motion, and he's going to keep it on the fake end around. Nice play design right there. Good run by Nathaniel Miller as that sets up second and more manageable.
Yeah, great job on the read play. Decided to keep it himself. Definitely the right decision. Getting the penalty yardage back and more. 2nd and 5.
And
at
Billingsley
the 9-yard line.
will stay in the game. So now getting the lion's share of work here on this drive. He's a single back to the right. And they'll give it to Billingsley. Up the middle, churning forward and gaining a few yards. It's going to set up 3rd and short.
So they are at the 5. The Comets are first down is the 3-yard line. Definitely don't want to settle for a field goal here this close to the end zone, especially considering you haven't really stopped Norcross at all. Although, to be fair, Norcross has only had 3 offensive plays.
Yeah. Very big play here, even early on. Nearly 2 minutes gone here in the second quarter. 10-13 and counting. It's 3rd and short near the goal line. And Miller's going to take it himself up the middle, and he scores. Nathaniel Miller into the end zone, and that's going to make it a 9-14 game. We'll see about the extra point, but right there, that's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Comets.
That's the 3rd rushing touchdown on the season for Nate Miller. Miller going along with 7 passing touchdowns again. Almost mirror images at the quarterback position when we talk about these 2 quarterbacks, Miller and then, of course, Watkins for Norcross. But what an answer, what a break on the muff punt. And Comets are right back. Oh,
and they're going for 2, and they flip it out, and they got it. Oh, man. So that'll make it a 3-point game.
I apologize. I didn't even know that was happening. We're getting ready for just a standard PAT, and next thing you know, that's probably what Norcross was doing too. And South Gwinnett caught everyone by surprise. And like you said, that's big because that makes it just a field goal game instead of 4 points. Obviously, you would need a touchdown at that point.
So back to a single score game, 14-11 your score with 10:06 remaining here in the second quarter, and a big touchdown right there, taking advantage of the muffed punt for South Gwinnett.
All right, so now they're going to kick it back to Zion Taylor here. Zion Taylor, 99 yards to the house last time he touched the ball. We'll see if they try to do a little angle kick or there's a different strategy here for South Gwinnett.
And that's exactly what we saw last week in the Buford-Carver game after Buchanan housed his kick return. The entirety of the game after that, Buford refusing to kick to him, and we might see something similar right here. Taylor is back deep to return. Next drive about to get underway, and a nice kickoff. That one carrying out towards the end zone, and instead of an angle kick, they're just going to boot it into the end zone for a touchback. That's certainly one way to keep it out of his hands.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That was exactly, of course, GHSA rules. If you're not familiar, if the ball goes into the end zone, it's automatically dead, called a touchback. So yeah, just kick it a little farther there. I guess if you're Calviola, I guess that's what the strategy was. Don't let them catch it at the 1. Kick it into the end zone there. Prevents the return opportunity, and Norcross will start their official second possession, offensive possession at the 20.
Hard to believe they've only ran 3 plays from scrimmage thus far, as Watkins and the company will come out at their own 20, 1st and 10. And they'll hand it off to the outside. Nice piece of running there. Few yards in a cloud of dust, 2nd and 8.
Michael Amons on the carry, the junior running back. He's got 30 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown so far on the season through 4 games for the Blue Devils.
Amons taking over the starting job after getting a minimal amount of carries last season. But he's really coming to his own as a back here for the Blue Devils. 2nd and 8. Watkins will pass. That one a diving catch, going to be caught near the far sideline and set up 3rd and a lot shorter. That was caught by Lawson Lucky, a Georgia commit. Very talented, versatile weapon for the Blue Devils, and showing right there why the Bulldogs want his services.
Man, you talk about tight ends. UGA's got a lot of them.
3rd and short, handoff up the middle and nothing doing. My goodness. Plugged up, and that's going to bring up 4th down. That was a nice play by Million McKinsey.
I was going to say, it took a minute for the punt team to come on, but I was thinking, yeah, it's tempting. They're 4th and short, but at this part of the field, no way. You got to punt it away, trust your defense, and that is exactly what is going to occur. And we got Drew Duva, the both kicker and punter, both teams kicker also assuming the punting duties.
2 back for the Comets to return as we have another flag. The referees will discuss.
I mean, this is big if it's on South Gwinnett. It's a first down. And
instead, it's going to be a full start and push them back 5. Talk about a momentum change, though, for South Gwinnett. A touchdown, then a 3 and out. That's certainly one way to get back into the game.
I mean, that muff punt is huge. It's an entirely different ball game. It was 14-3. Norcross was about to get the ball back. And next thing you know, now it's 14-11. Like you said, the 3 and out. It totally changed the game.
Norcross with 14 points, but their offense has not been on the field that much. And South Gwinnett, you have to imagine, dominating time of possession. So they'll try the punt again with Duva, who was able to get away cleanly. Nice hang time on that one. And that one going to take a Comet bounce as it goes into enemy territory. So a golden opportunity here for South Gwinnett to try and either tie this game up or take the lead. It's worth noting that 2-point conversion could end up being very important down the stretch depending on how this game plays out.
And I really wonder if the fact that literally Norcross was on the field for 90 seconds, the entirety of the first quarter, and then they don't get the ball back until 10 minutes into the second quarter. They go 3 and out again. There's no rhythm right now for the Norcross offense. Yes, you're winning, but your offense really hasn't even played.
Only 6 plays from scrimmage thus far for Norcross.
It's like you're sitting around. It's got to be hard.
You have to imagine it's hard on that defense, too. They've been out on the field a lot, as the first play is going to be a run up the middle, toted by Billingsley.
So now Billingsley seems to have taken over the running back position. Wonder if it was just, first 2 drives is going to be Appling, next 2 drives is Billingsley. Because we really haven't seen them go back and forth in the same drive. So this is definitely Billingsley doing the work here.
Billingsley stays in the game on 2nd and 9. And now he'll motion out wide. Miller dropping back, faking the check down to him, and now firing wide open over the middle and in and out of the hands. Oh, man, that would have been a huge play. He was looking for A.J. Pigford, and instead it brings up 3rd down.
Oh, A.J. talked you up so much in the pregame, and that was a touchdown waiting to happen just off the hands.
Pigford, a 2-way phenom for the Comets. He's the leading receiver, 149 yards on the season, including an 83-yard catch earlier on in the year. And he nearly had another big play, but instead, it's 3rd and 9. Motioning into the slot is Carter. Miller rolling out, trying to buy some time. Now he'll take it himself as he runs up the field, just past the 40-yard line.
Great tackle there by Jalen Brown. Like 6'4", 220 is not easy to take down, but Brown, actually the quarterback, looking at the size and stats, Nate Miller outpacing Jalen Brown, the defensive end. You don't see that very often.
No,
Brown,
you do not.
6 foot 200.
And the offense stays out on the field for 4th down. Billingsley is the back. Miller, shotgun snap. He'll give it to Billingsley, and Billingsley's got a lane. Taking it down the sideline. 1 man to beat, and he beats him. Touchdown, and just like that, the Comets on top for the first time tonight. Jaquan Billingsley.
And now we get to see what Norcross can do. Offense has really the game kickoff time for this actual football game and the kickoff time for the Norcross offense has just been an hour apart. Like there's no way Norcross has been able to build anything, and now their lead is gone. So this is definitely a challenge here for the Blue Devils.
Kick is up and good. That'll make it an 18-14 game. You mentioned the importance of the 2-point conversion, making it a 3-point game while they're trailing. Now they're leading, and it's a 4-point game, so a field goal not going to cut it here for the Blue Devils.
But I got to say, talk about gutsy. Is fourth and short, I think the call is understandable. You're in that no man's land, but to run the ball, a handoff there, you would think 4th and 3, 4th and 4, you want to do a pass play, and that's probably what Norcross thought too. But Billingsley was able to be patient, found the hole, and at that point you're really playing tight. So on a 4th down play, if you get past that initial line of defense, there's no second level on the defense 4th down, because you're all at the line trying to stop it. So great job finishing off that run for the touchdown for Billingsley.
That is the second rushing touchdown on the season for Billingsley, and it's a big one. So here we go, another kickoff. As this game has turned into a high-scoring offensive frenzy in a hurry. Talk about the previous meeting, that was 7-0. We passed that a long time ago.
And Calviallo definitely got the message. Second straight kickoff into the end zone. No return opportunity there for Norcross and Zion Taylor.
You have to imagine the coach on the sideline telling him, you've got a leg, use it, put those laces through the ball. We are not letting that happen again.
Gosh, I can't say it enough. I really, really am excited for this drive because I want to see what Norcross can do. Their offense, this is such a test now for the Blue Devils offense.
Watkins will come out in the shotgun. Man in motion is Taylor, and they're going to give it to Taylor on the end around. Nice carry there by Zion Taylor. It sets up 2nd and short.
Very good start to this drive. That's exactly what the Blue Devils needed. I mean, we talk about the 74-yard touchdown run by Watkins, but don't forget that was a 3rd and 9. So they really only had one good offensive play. And I would say that qualifies as 2. That was a very good play right there to 2nd and short, or medium, I should say.
Getting it into the hands of one of their playmakers, Taylor, a Georgia Tech commit, a transfer from Parkview, as another flag comes in.
And I think they're going to get a free 1st down here, as I saw the offside call. Yep. So there you go. Good start. Got the 1st down via the Comets offside penalty.
So I'll give them a fresh set of chains here, as they're now up to a whopping 7 plays from scrimmage, and we are at 6:26 remaining here in the first half. But to their credit, they've hung in there. They're only down 4.
That is so crazy. South Gwinnett has doubled the amount of plays Norcross has total in their opening drive.
Yeah, hard to believe, as that'll be a snap taken by Watkins. Nice job to corral it, as he'll do his best to muster a few yards out of that. And now another flag comes in. That one looking to be maybe after the play.
Yeah, that was definitely a late flag. We'll see what the official saw on that. I definitely didn't see what happened, so we'll await the call here.
2 plays, 2 runs thus far for Norcross on the drive. And of the 8 plays that they've run from scrimmage, 6 of them have been runs. Referee's still discussing what the call is going to be.
So we got personal foul penalties on both sides of the ball. Just a little control flag there to keep things from getting out of hand. So penalties obviously offset, so we'll just continue on like nothing happened.
So 2nd and 7 from the 35.
Although it should be noted, I should take that back, because obviously if you get multiple personal foul penalties, you're no longer playing. So that is definitely important, but just refs keeping everyone under control.
Almost like a basketball player in foul trouble.
Yep.
Now you have to imagine those players, the guilty party, is going to have that in their mind. As that is a strike down the middle of the field, and it's going to be a 1st down and much, much more. Nakai Poole on the catch. First catch on the night, 21st on the season for him.
Nakai Poole will be playing at Mississippi State next season. very good trio of pass catchers, like we said at the top of the show. We got 3 big Power 5 guys catching passes from A.J. Watkins for Norcross.
Poole also has 3 rushing touchdowns on the season, 2 versus Archer and then 1 last week versus Discovery. 1st and 10, and that one in and out of the hands, dropping to the turf. Intended for Zion Taylor.
Yeah, that was not a good throw there by Watkins at the feet of Zion Taylor. Not much Taylor could have done with that one.
2nd and 10, as this has definitely been the longest drive now for Norcross. This will be their 5th play on the series, and they're into opposing territory. Watkins with 3 receivers, 2 is left. Now he'll send Taylor in motion. Another give to Taylor out in space, and ball comes out at the end, but he's out of bounds. Nearly a first down. Nice rush right there to set up 2nd and short. So there's that versatility in the run game once again. We've seen Taylor carry the ball. We've seen Ammons carry the ball some, and of course we've seen Watkins carry the ball. 2nd and 3. Empty set after the motion, be swung out to Ammons, and Ammons works his way forward, and that's going to be enough for a first down on the catch. Moving the chains once again, Norcross putting together a nice methodical drive here. 1st and 10, that clock continuing to tick, now at 5:14 and counting. 1 receiver to the left, 2 to the right. High snap again as Watkins corrals it. Hand off up the middle. 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
So definitely seeing a good methodical drive, and that's what Norcross needed. I mean, of course you do love scoring the 74-yard touchdowns, but at the same time your defense needed a rest. So it's good to get them off the field. The offense churning it down the field here, getting up to double digits now on the play, and great job there on the hard count by Watkins to draw South Gwinnett offsides.
Right on. You can see them jumping. There are multiple players at the line jumping into that neutral zone, and that's going to make it 2nd and about 3. Pretty balanced attack here for Norcross on the drive. 4 runs and 3 passes for the Blue Devils thus far. You mentioned that defense getting some rest as we're starting to approach the neighborhood of halftime. 4:36 and counting on the scoreboard. 2nd and short. Watkins back to pass. Stepping up in the pocket. Now he'll try and scramble up the middle as we have a huge pile up. Almost like the traffic out here today as he's going to be stopped. Looks to be just short of the marker. Bring up 3rd and very, very short. 3rd and about a yard. You can see player to watch out there, Lawson Lucky, left side, offset in that tight end position.
You wonder if this is 2-down territory here, and well, that's not going to be a decision the coach has to make, as yet again the South Gwinnett Comets jump off sides.
So that's 2 times now they've gotten him with the hard count just on this drive alone, and that one a big one as it's going to move the chains.
I mean, that's the last thing you want to do as a defense. You want to make the offense earn it. You don't just want to give it to them. And South Gwinnett, for the 2nd straight time, or the 2nd time this drive, is just giving up free first downs for Norcross.
Imagine Coach Brian Lamar. He has a defensive background. Probably not a happy camper on the sideline right now. Hand off to Ammons. Hit hard near the 20-yard line. Gain about 2 on the play and set up 2nd and 8. Clock still ticking here as we're approaching the 3-minute mark now. Have to imagine time for this drive and maybe, just maybe, a few plays for South Gwinnett, but we'll see how the rest of this series plays out. 2nd and 8, shotgun snap, ball comes out. And a near crisis averted though, as they were able to fall on it. And instead of a turnover, it's about 3rd and 8.
You know, I wonder if South Gwinnett might want to call a timeout. Probably they will if they stop Norcross here on 4th down to preserve as much time as they can. Both teams with the full allotment of timeouts here in the first half.
Chance of defense erupting here as we hit 3rd and long in field goal range. This is a pivotal play in the closing moments of the first half. Watkins drops back, firing towards the far side and making the first man miss and getting into the end zone for the touchdown. My goodness. Nakai Poole. And there's another one of those top receivers. And a huge touchdown, huge drive there for Norcross as they get the lead back before the closing moments of the first half. Score 20-18.
I mean, that was a great juke move there by Poole, but at the same time, you got to make that tackle. You had 2 players there, and Poole juked both of them out with a single cut. Like you said, you know, the Coach Lamar, defensive background, he cannot be happy about that last drive.
It was an 11-play drive for the Blue Devils, more than doubling, or nearly doubling their plays from scrimmage of their first 2 drives, as the extra point is up and good. So 21-18 your score, back to a 3-point game with 2:10 remaining here in the first half. Colin, if you're South Gwinnett, what are you going to try and do here to salvage some points before the end of the half?
We'll see. With South Gwinnett, I just want to say I'm very impressed by both of these teams with their ability to respond. South Gwinnett took the 2 home run hits by Norcross, down 14-3, able to get a lucky break there with the muff punt, but they score 18 straight points, or pardon, 15 straight points to get the lead. And then Norcross, offense, no rhythm whatsoever, been on the field for less than 2 minutes the entire game, just has a great methodical drive down the field. So we've seen both teams answer. Now it's South Gwinnett's turn to answer again. 2:10, they have all 3 timeouts. Field goal kicker just got his season high at 36 yards, so field goal will tie it. That's definitely the idea now for Coach Lamar and the Comets.
We will get to see Nate Miller in a 2-minute drill here, and we'll see what the senior quarterback has in store. You have to imagine that is certainly an asset that he has going for him, that senior experience.
And I also want to say they deferred the coin toss, so they're trying to do the old 2-for-1 here, score before the half and then get the ball to start the second half.
To paraphrase the great Bill Belichick, the old double whammy. So perhaps the final series of the first half will get underway after this kickoff, as that one is muffed. Heads up is, oh man, he's going to take a hard hit trying to find some space, and he is swarmed by an eager group of Blue Devils near the 15-yard line. And a dangerous moment right there. Swan Royal able to hold on to it. Actually, that was Darius Owens, so apologies about that. But Owens able to recover it. And the Comet offense will take over here with just under 2 minutes remaining. Minute 58 showing on the clock. They've got a long ways to go.
I was going to say, that was a great job by Owens to be able to not panic after muffing. He was able to pick it up and then tuck it away. You see so often once a kick returner or any player really picks up a fumble, they don't tuck it away, because there was definitely, he took a couple good hits and was able to hold on to the ball there. Disaster averted for sure.
So here comes Nate Miller and company, as they will have about 76 yards to go, or 86 yards to go. Once again, my math showing up, as we'll have a stoppage in play.
And it's going to be actually 91 yards to go now.
So even longer.
89 yards. We are journalism majors. We are not math majors. But yes, it is 89 yards to the end zone, of course. It's to be seen what the actual field goal range is for Caviolo, but he did hit from 36 earlier.
And they'll hand off on the first play of the drive, and stuffed immediately. Right there, a swarm of Blue Devils sets up second at about 10 or 11.
I wonder if the strategy changed due to the fact that they're kind of backed up into their own end. Of course, you want to be aggressive, but then again, you know, you don't want to go down 2 scores headed into the half. So, played a good half so far. Both teams have. Maybe you just take it into the half. We'll see. I think this play will have a lot to do with what they do.
That one, a pass over the middle and a leaping catch. How about that?
And like
right
I said,
that'll give him a new set of chains.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
no, you're good.
talk over you there. Very hard to hear in this press box. Speaks to the atmosphere here at South Gwinnett. But yeah, now they're going for it after that play.
And I believe that was Caleb Collins on the catch. Big play right there, and right on cue, it's picked off. Oh, it's picked off, taking it down the sideline and taking it to the house. That's Taiwan Royal. Pick 6, and how about that? The Blue Devils with 6 more.
Wow. That was such a good play. Good, the old tip drill there. Taiwan Royal.
Taiwan Royal, the North Dakota State University commit, taking it to the house, and it makes it 27-18.
And we should say, Eric, for those listening, obviously no way to know this about yourself, but you are a North Dakota native, Fargo, North Dakota, so it's good to see. You probably give Royal some lay of the land here. Let them know what to expect going up playing for the FCS powerhouse.
Extra point is on the way up, and it is no good. Wide right. But you have to imagine that the Thundering Herd are going to love that. Drew Duva with his first PAT miss on the season, and I can only feel like we're partially responsible for that, bringing it up earlier on in the game.
But still, the great play by Taiwan Royal. To be able to, first of all, be in position, the whole ball hawk kind of thing, to know, you know, you just around the ball, sometimes the ball is able to find you, the play finds you when you're just always in the mix, and that's exactly what happened there off the hands of the receiver. And that's really we talked about playing it safe for South Gwinnett. Maybe the strategy changed. They got the great play there to get up to the 30. You want to be aggressive, but then, you know, throws a little bit off. Royal makes a great play, and now Norcross is back where they started the game, up 2 scores.
So instead of trying to tie the game up or maybe even snag the lead before halftime, it's now a 9-point deficit. 1:03 remaining on the clock here in the first half. I have to say, too, I know a few people from Fargo back home are watching this game, and you have to imagine that they'll like what they see right there from Royal. Like pick 6 at the end of the half and another muffed kickoff. Oh, man. Little bit of everything. And that was Owens again.
Yeah, I think, honestly, if I am South Gwinnett, I am probably taking a knee right here. Just settle it down. You can respond. You did respond to the 2 big plays there by Norcross. So, going to half, you get the ball to start the second half, and just come out and do exactly what you did the last time you were down 2 scores.
We'll see if that's the case as we get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty coming in. We have 58 seconds left. And as you mentioned earlier, they do get the ball to start the second half, so that also might be something to take into account as they approach what has to be, I'd have to imagine, the final drive of half number 1. Although they will get some free yards from the penalty.
I was going to say, as soon as I say that, this probably changes the strategy. Now, instead of being at your own 10, you're at the 25. You have all 3 timeouts. There is less than a minute, but we'll see.
We've seen a little bit of everything in the first half. It's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that they're able to salvage something here on this final drive.
I will say this is one of those moments where I'm glad I am up here in the press box and not down on the sideline making this decision, because I honestly don't know what the best decision is here right now. But we'll see. We'll see what Coach Lamar does here.
That's why they pay the coaches the big bucks, as the first play will be a handoff up the middle. That one given off to Appling. Minimal gain, and looks like the clock will be stopped. Timeout going to be called. So 2nd and about 9.
I want to know what team called that timeout. Because if South Gwinnett called that timeout, it was Norcross. Because I was like, that was not the play to run when you're trying to call timeouts to save time. That was the play you run when you're trying to get into the half. So Norcross was the one to call that timeout.
You have to imagine Norcross probably feeling themselves right now, thinking, hey, minimal gain here on first down. We can try and get this ball back.
That's exactly what they're thinking. They smell blood in the water. They're going for the proverbial kill here, trying to get kick them while they're down. They don't want South Gwinnett to recover, to regroup. They want to keep going. They don't want this half to end.
Especially, you have to imagine a road team coming in homecoming. They're going to take every chance they can to try and get any degree of separation, as now it looks like we're going to have another stoppage, and now the whole team coming and huddling up here for Norcross.
Yeah, don't usually see this. Literally the sideline has cleared. They are now huddle at the 40-yard line. Norcross is, boy, what I would give to be in the middle of that huddle to know what the coach is saying right now.
And they'll break the largest football huddle I've ever seen. Of course, they have to make sure that there's 11 out there with a massive huddle and doing some quick counting that looks to check out. 2nd and 9 here, 52.7 seconds remaining in what has been a wild first half. 27-18 your score, Norcross on top. Miller gives it off again, up the middle, and again, not much on the run.
Another timeout for Norcross. Yep, they are trying to get the ball back.
And they might be able to get it back with a decent amount of time left. 47.1 seconds remaining now. One timeout remaining here on 3rd and long. I got a question for you, Colin. If you're South Gwinnett here, do you even consider passing to try and get the first down, or you just try and make them burn the timeout?
No, you're committed at this point. You want them to use all their timeouts. High school, it's a little different. Obviously, you can't compare high school to NFL. You're able to go a lot faster. You have to think about things more when you're high school. Although, that being said, like college, clock will stop if they get a first down. But you don't want to leave any timeouts. You don't want Norcross to be able to regroup in this final drive. You want to force all the decisions to be made by Watkins and not Coach Maloof.
You have to imagine that the pick six might be fresh in their minds as well from the last time that they tried to take the ball down the field. But we'll see for sure here. 3rd down and 9, 47 seconds remaining, and one timeout in the pocket of Norcross. They'll come out on the shotgun, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And indeed, they will hand it off. Cutting up the middle, finding some nice space. Going to be close to the marker. Very close, and
I think he
got
got
the spot. He might have got it.
Yep.
Good piece of running right there from Appling, and that'll move the chains.
So that ruins every strategy Norcross had. We'll see. You know what? If I'm South Gwinnett, I want to go for it. I want to be like, you know what? I'm going to make you regret not letting us just go into half. You're at the 35. You've got all of your timeouts. We'll see what South Gwinnett does here now.
Clock is running. It's at 17 seconds and counting.
Hey, Alex. Yep.
You have to imagine that this might be it for the first half as that clock continues to go down. Now under 10 seconds.
Okay.
And players heading off to their respective sidelines. And that's going to do it here for the first half. Crazy first half. It's the visitors, Norcross, the Blue Devils, up on top. 27-18 your score after the first half. And we've got a little bit of everything. We've got a lot to talk about. We'll have a 20-minute halftime here before we resume action, but there will be plenty to talk about as we've got return touchdowns. We've got a pick six. We've got long runs. It's been just about everything. Taking a look at the drive chart here, it was a slow start for Norcross on offense, or a fast start, I should say, slow start as far as plays go. 3 plays and then a touchdown, then the kick return touchdown, then a 3 and out, and then an impressive 11-play drive that ended in a touchdown for Norcross. That's what really got him back into the game, and then after that, a pick 6 by Norcross to get him to 27 points. And we're going to take it
3, 2, 1.
We're going to take it down now.
It's been a lot of touchdowns being made as well. Norcross has touchdowns made by A.J. Watkins, their running back Zion Taylor, on a kick return, by the way. Their wide receiver, and at the last second, their defensive back Taiwan Doyle, who scored off an interception being made. Now, on the other side, we got South Gwinnett, who had a touchdown scored by Nathaniel Miller and another touchdown scored by Desmond Millsy. And there was also a field goal made at the beginning of the game, and that's got the game scored with 27 to 18 with Norcross up. So we'll be back. Back to you guys up at the top.
All right, good. There, go.
All right, thanks for that. We're back up in the booth here. Once again, halftime 27-18 your score. Colin, what have you thought so far about the first half? There is a lot to discuss here.
There really is a lot to digest, and well, let's start. Let's start at the start. We had the South Gwinnett look like they were ready to force a 3 and out, and then we have A.J. Watkins, 74-yard touchdown run. We talked about him being a dual threat. He is their leading rusher, the Blue Devils. And then South Gwinnett, methodical, 14-play, almost 8-minute drive, ended in a field goal, and then next thing you know, got the kick return. So it's 14-3. It's looking like South Gwinnett, they're 4-0, but, seeing the competition, Norcross, like we said, they are, one of the blue bloods. They know how to win under Coach Maloof, and it looked like it was very close to being broken wide open. And then we get the muff punt. The muff punt, I feel like that was the change of the game. It would be a blow, in my opinion, it would be a blowout right now without that play, because then South Gwinnett ran with that, and credit to South Gwinnett for being able to take advantage of the mistake by Norcross. They scored 15 unanswered. And then I thought at that point, South Gwinnett was going to run away with it because Norcross had no momentum on offense. And then both teams have proved me wrong. I thought Norcross was going to run away with it. South Gwinnett was able to be mentally tough. Once I thought South Gwinnett was going to run away with it, Norcross also mentally tough. Just speaks to the matchup and how well coached these two teams are. And now South Gwinnett's going to have to do it again because Norcross, literally, there's so much momentum, flows both ways. First punch was Norcross. South Gwinnett was able to recover. Norcross punches back, and now we're going to wait for South Gwinnett's response.
Yeah, it's been... You feel like either team could have run away with it at any point. I feel like even now, 2-possession game at halftime, 9 points, certainly not a bad margin by any means. You get the feeling, especially with South Gwinnett getting the opening kickoff to start the second half, it's still really anyone's game.
It really is. And what I want to see is if the defensive adjustments, if there's going to be any defensive adjustments, because we've seen, like we thought, a heavy dose of the run game. I can't remember really much in the way of the passing attack. We did have that drop by A.J. Pickford possibly could have been a touchdown, but other than that, it's been very minimal gains through the air. It's all been down to the run. So do you start to crowd the box? Do you start to put 7-8 guys up at the line of scrimmage? And then conversely, as the offense, do you start throwing the ball more if you see a loaded box? It's the cat and mouse that we love with football. You see the adjustments, but I don't know. This first drive is going to be huge. Just like the muff punt was huge, this first drive is going to be equally as huge, because if you don't score, if it's a 3 and out, or heaven forbid a turnover, Norcross might be able to do what they couldn't do and break the game wide open.
So I got to ask you this, stressing the importance of that first drive for South Gwinnett, if you were in the shoes of Coach Lamar, what would be your plan of attack here for this first drive to start the second half?
Well, we've seen kind of a split with Billingsley and Appling. Billingsley had the 4th down touchdown run. Appling started the game almost entirely. Nate Miller, both of these quarterbacks are the dual threat quarterbacks. Man, I don't know. I feel like you need to go in the air more. I know Pickford had that drop, but I feel like you need to. I mean, that seam route was wide open. I mean, that play was perfect. It was a fake screen pass, or perhaps it wasn't a fake screen pass and it was just the Norcross defense was on top of it, and it was a good job by Miller to see that the cornerback jump of the route goes to the second level. We need to see more second level throws. We need to see that, because that brings the defense back, opens up your rushing attack. I would like to see Coach Lamar draw up some more routes for Pierre Ford, for A.J. Pickford, Anthony Carter. They have talent on the outside. I feel like they need that. They need to stretch the defense. Even if it's not a completed pass, they need to get some deep throws to stretch the defense for Norcross to open up Billingsley more and Appling and Miller on the ground.
Talk about a lot of times teams will talk about running to keep teams honest, but you're sort of going the other way. Deep passes to keep them honest. That'll back them off the line of scrimmage a little bit. And as you said, it'll open up more of that shorter underneath stuff and the running game.
Yeah, and that's what the comments like. That's what both teams. These two teams are so similar. It's ridiculous. Down to even their color scheme. They're almost the same team. They're ranked 46, 47. Like, these two teams cannot be more similar. And so, I mean, the strategy would be exact same if I'm Coach Maloof and Norcross. You got receivers. You got 3 pass catchers, Poole, Taylor, Lucky, going to not only D1 schools, but Power 5 D1 schools. Mississippi State, Poole, Georgia Tech is where Taylor's going, and UGA for Lucky. You got these guys. Use them. Go open up the defense. Throw the ball down the field. Get A.J. Watkins. You gotta utilize your playmakers. I want to see more deep throws by both of these quarterbacks, because these teams like the underneath stuff. I mean, these teams like the jet sweep. Like we said, those same receivers, Poole, Taylor, Lucky, all have rushing touchdowns. But if you keep doing this underneath stuff, you can't do it the whole game, because the defense is going to catch on, and it's going to make it impossible for that to happen. So, yeah, you got to go downfield. You got to soften up the opposing defense so you can get back to what you like to do.
I think another thing that stood out for me in the first half, how about the offensive line for Norcross? Something that stood out to me when looking into this game earlier on in the week. Good amount of returning starters for Norcross, and on the offensive line, 4 of the 5 linemen are returning starters. Only new one out there is Myron McNeil. A lot of times people talk about continuity and experience on the offensive line being a big boon, and one player we talked about in pregame, A.J. Pickford, he put up video game numbers the last time these two teams met. Last year when they met, 5.5 sacks, and I don't think, on defense at least tonight, we've called his name once. So credit to the big guys up front for that.
That is very true. They have pretty much neutralized Pickford on both sides of the ball. And I just want to shout out, you shouted out there, they're all upperclassmen, returning guys, but they are big guys. They are big guys. We got, Ethan Lapia, left tackle, 6'3", 300 pounds. We got Quentin Pina Bishop, he's 230. Mayada Jones, 287. Jaden Williams, 310. Myron McNeil, 260. These guys are behemoths, and you don't always see that at the high school level.
Pigford has had multiple sacks in every game thus far this season, and none so far tonight.
None so far, coming in with 9 in 4 games. 9 in 4 games. That, simple math. He's averaging over 2 sacks a game. He's got none. I haven't even seen him really in the backfield, to be honest. And you know what? I just want to say, mentioning how unbelievably similar these teams are, let me just go through South Gwinnett's offensive line. They are equally as massive. We got Marcus Mescal, he's 300-pound left tackle. Kayleen Tait, left guard, 265. Henrik Smith, 260 at center. Tyquan Smith, 330 right guard. And we got a 285 Isaiah Taylor, right tackle. Man, these guys, they don't skip any meals.
No.
I'll tell you that much.
And that'll make their coaches very happy.
We got next level offensive line, all 5 positions. And, I guess that's why they run the ball so much and so well. But, like I said, you can only do that for so long before the defense focuses on it. And, as big as your guys are, 5 guys can't block 8 defenders.
And you mentioned Pigford's 9 sacks, perhaps even more absurd, 19 tackles for loss coming into this game. And a few weeks ago, he had 9 in a single game, but none so far for him here tonight.
So let me ask you the same question. Well, let me ask you a different question. So we talked about who we were looking for pregame, or I want to ask you, who would you like to see step up? We said Pigford. Pigford's the obvious one, but maybe is there any player who's kind of been absent that you would like to see really start to impose their will? I would say, me personally, I haven't really seen much out of the Michael Amons, the running back for Norcross. I haven't seen anything from any Norcross running back. Actually, Jonathan Mathis really, to be fair, Norcross, like we said, haven't had many offensive snaps, but is there anyone else you think needs to step up?
Amons has been the leading carrier out of the backfield for the Blue Devils, averaging 5.1 yards per carry coming into this game. I think, to your credit, talking about trying to maybe stretch the field out a little bit for South Gwinnett, we've called his name a few times with Anthony Carter, not the leading receiver per yards, but he's the leading receiver per catches. He had 8 and 2 touchdowns coming into this game. I believe he has 2 catches here in the first half, but maybe look at seeing him get featured more here in the second half. He's their Z receiver. He's one of their go-to guys. They went to him a few times on 3rd down, and we'll see if they look his way more here in the second half.
Yeah, that great pick on that. Anthony Carter definitely has the pedigree to do damage. And, you can draw. Part of it is play calling. Part of it is just you have to beat your man. As a receiver, the receiver cornerback, you just got to beat the guy across from you. And that's something definitely Carter can do and needs to do in order for South Gwinnett to be able to come back here down 9 at the half.
And then another receiver to watch out for, we talked about a little bit, but A.J. Pigford. It's worth noting that there was one game in particular they sort of unleashed Pigford as a receiver. That was against Pebblebrook. 6 of his 7 catches coming into the game, 142 yards and a touchdown in that game. They sort of featured him a lot more heavily in the passing game, and it will be interesting to see with them trailing if they utilize him more in the passing game or if they try and unleash him as a pass rusher, or maybe even both here in the second half.
I mean, as much as we talk about the Norcross running backs kind of being absent, and like you said, Anthony Carter, I think for South Gwinnett, just bottom line, if the Comets are going to win this game, we need to see more from Pigford. Pigford is their guy on offense and defense. And I mean, not to be super critical. I mean, he's a better football player than I am, much better football player than I am.
I can agree with you on that too.
Yeah,
He's definitely better than me.
No one's going to miss, but he hasn't done anything really this entire game, and he's done so much for them this season. You can't be mad at him for not being, But if you want to win, if you want to go undefeated, if you want to go to 5-0, your best player needs to show up in every single game. And A.J. Pickford has 24 minutes to make it 5 for 5 in games he's shown up for, because right now he is not.
Well, it is worth mentioning that there's also a pedigree of coming from behind in games that they've trailed for the Comets. Their first game, the aforementioned Pebblebrook game, they were down 18-0 in the first quarter, ended up winning that game 26-18, and that's the game where they sort of turned Pickford loose as a receiver. So you have to imagine with a 2-score deficit here going into the second half in this one, a big game, maybe they'll change up the game plan a little bit, but there is history of coming back from multi-score deficits for this Comet team. And experienced coach such as Brian Lamar, they talked about how he's changed the culture so much since coming in 2021. This is a team that had a losing record last season and now 4-0, their best start since 2003. We'll see if they can turn it around here and get to 5-0 from 4-0.
That is crazy how much Brian Lamar has done in just his first year, just his first 4 games. Just being able to turn this program into something that they really haven't been, like you said, in almost 20 years. So South Gwinnett, I mean, we are here for a reason. We are here because this is a big matchup, and it's because South Gwinnett has kind of risen from a place they haven't been since, I mean, heck, David Green and David Pollock, late 90s, early 2000s, have roamed the field here, at Richard Snell Community Stadium. But so it's good to see South Gwinnett here playing good football, and they're playing good football here against Norcross. And Norcross, we've spoke about it several times on their pedigree, and just like you said, over 200 wins for Coach Keith Maloof, 39 years of coaching experience total, won back-to-back state championships in 2012 and 2013. 2012 was the Alvin Kamara year. Norcross is used, they were 8-4 last year, second round loss. They barely lost to Lowndes, which is a very good program in and of itself. It was a 35-34 loss. But, to say they had a disappointing season at 8-4, 5-1 in the region with second round playoff loss, that just speaks to the caliber of Norcross and what their expectations are. They dropped their first 2 games against very good opponents, Brookwood in week 1, Mill Creek in week 2, but they've won 2 straight, looking to make it 3 straight against a very good South Gwinnett team. So both of these teams are, kind of in different places. South Gwinnett is trying to be where Norcross is, and Norcross, is trying to get back to where they're used to being. 2-2, trying to get to 3-2, but as disappointing as it is to be 2-2 right here for Norcross, nothing matters in Georgia high school football except region games, because that determines playoff standings, that determins region championships, that determines whether you're hosting a playoff game or not, is if you play your region opponents. So far, Norcross 1-0 in the region, and they have this game against South Gwinnett, and then it's straight region matchups. Rest of the way, they got Duluth, Berkmar, Meadow Creek, Peachtree Ridge, North Gwinnett. So this is their last, quote-unquote free game, if you want to say.
Yeah.
Where, win-loss record doesn't matter. So this is a big one for Norcross, because after this, every game, if they want to get to state championship level, win your region games, because home games are so important. And that's exactly what Norcross is trying to do. Same thing with South Gwinnett. South Gwinnett hasn't played a region game yet. They have this game against Norcross, and then it's straight region. They are at Parkview, Grayson, Archer, Newton, Brookwood. Man, that's a tough region. Just reading off those names. South Gwinnett. So this is, honestly, this is a perfect tune-up right here for before we get into region matchup, because Norcross is at that caliber of those teams that I just listed off that are in Region 7A, or Region 4, Class 7A for South Gwinnett. So, man, that's just, it's almost like SEC football.
Yeah,
these regions. More. It just means more, and these regions are so stacked. I just read off each team in all of these regions, and there is really no weak team that I'm looking at. So, man, it's going to be a gauntlet. These two teams are they're preparing for a gauntlet of a region schedule here. There are no weeks you're allowed to take off. And this is a game. This is a game that's all about building momentum as you are ready, your region rest of the way. This is the last non-region, your straight region from here on out.
Well, you mentioned the gauntlet of a schedule. The gauntlet has been thrown here for the second half as we are about ready to get underway. That halftime clock down at 5 seconds and counting. Players and coaches back out on the field, and it should be a great second half. 27-18 your score here. Norcross, the visitors, up on top over South Gwinnett, and we'll see if some of those points we hit on in the halftime show will pop up here in the second half. Buzzer sounding now. Referees coming back out onto the field. As take a look, you mentioned the region games coming up, as these two teams at the highest level here in Georgia. 7A, South Gwinnett in Region 4, and Norcross in 7A Region 7. I gotta say, it's been my second 7A region game, my second Georgia high school football game ever. I am just blown away by how big time it is, and I gotta tell you, it is a step up from good old North Dakota.
I'm gonna say, no disrespect to North Dakota. I'm sure you guys produce some great athletes up there. Actually, I know you do. But, man, Class 7A in Georgia, I would put that up against any other classification in the entire nation. Like, seriously, Class 7A, if you win the state championship in Class 7, like, that is on par with probably a national championship. Like, this, so much talent at the highest level in Georgia high school football. We've been to so many games with so many kids who are going to be playing for your favorite colleges next year and probably going to be getting some playing time. It's just such quality football. Like this, we're essentially watching a college football game.
Absolutely.
Almost. Yeah. Not that far off, which is ridiculous to say considering these kids are not even 18 yet. But man, they just build them different. Build them different. These guys, they could play at an SEC school tomorrow. Some of them, and I believe that. Like, no exaggeration.
Well, to your points, I did some research earlier today, and Norcross is the Georgia high school with the most active NFL players. They have 5 of them, and some of those names you might recognize. 2 Bulldogs in Lorenzo Carter and Jake Camarda. Alvin Kamara, who we talked about a little bit earlier, running back for the Saints. Jared Pinckney and Max Garcia as well. And as for South Gwinnett, they've had 1 player make the NFL. Back in 2015, Jonathan Krause, a wide receiver that appeared in 2 games for the Eagles in 2015, and he played his college ball in the SEC at Vanderbilt. So, great players just continually getting churned out of these schools, and I get a feeling we might see some more players play at the highest level down on this field.
Well, I just want to mention the tight end for Norcross, Lucky. So interesting because he's committed to UGA, which great for him, obviously defending national champions. But you think about that tight end. That tight end room at Georgia is so crowded right now. You got Brock Bowers, who is probably, if not the favorite, got to be top 2 for the Mackey Award. So we got that coming up. So we got Brock Bowers, UGA, Washington. You also got Eric Gilbert and Oscar Dell, who's like freshman, 4-star, West Forsyth. right there, and Lawson Lucky is going to join that crew. UGA might be coming tight end U.
Yeah. We also have some score updates from across the state. In the first quarter, the Hughes Panthers are leading the Douglas County Tigers 7-0. In the third quarter, the South Paulding Spartans are leading the Newton Cougars 28-7. In the second quarter, the Rome Wolves are up 28-7 over the Alatoona Buccaneers. In the second quarter, the Alpharetta Raiders are giving it to the Pope Greyhounds, 41-7 your score on that one. The Blessed Trinity Titans are leading the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets 14-0 in the third quarter. And in Johns Creek at Roswell, the Johns Creek Gladiators down 7-21 to the Roswell Hornets. So there's some score updates from across the state, as sort of a few more to get to as well. The Colquitt County Packers, talked about that game earlier, 22-17, as we'll hold that thought. Kickoff taken up to the 35-yard line, and in business is going to be South Gwinnett. The Lone Disc Vikings are up 7-0 over the Grayson Rams in the first quarter. At half, Coffee Trojans up 27-3 over Richmond Hill. And the first quarter, 7-0 for McEwen Indians over the Valdosta Wildcats. The Wheeler Wildcats up 21-0 over the Campbell Spartans. In the second quarter, the Carrollton Trojans are up over the Hillgrove Hawks 35-14. And we'll be bringing you more score updates throughout this opening drive, as the Comets are going to take the field here on offense to open things up here in the second half.
Bottom line, if you're South Gwinnett, you need points. You need points in this drive. This sets the tone for the entire second half.
As the first play is going to be a keeper up the middle and going to be near a first down. Miller calling his own number.
And that was a great start to the drive. Almost the first down, got 9 yards on the opening carry from Nate Miller.
So first play, a run up the middle, and going to be second and very short. Once again, 27-18 your score, a 9-point game. Comets trailing, but looking to get back into the game. Second play of the half, and it's going to be a handoff up the middle. That one taken by Appling, and there he is again. He's got enough for the first down.
Yeah, so definitely a pattern emerging to how South Gwinnett is utilizing their two running backs. Like I said, it's not really a starter and a backup. It's really two starters. It's 1A, 1B. Seems like they're splitting up the drives.
Fresh set of chains, fake the handoff. That one swung out wide, nearly intercepted, and now caught. Flag is down, as that's going to be a gain of about 2, and there's Anthony Carter on the catch, but we'll see about the penalty.
That was almost a disaster. Devin Hunter was a fingertip away from a pick six.
We'll see about the flag, but it would have been a big-time takeaway right there for Norcross.
And this, not to toot my own horn, but this is kind of why I want them to go down the field, because these corners are sitting on these short routes, these screen passes, because that's all South Gwinnett has really done this entire game. You gotta show that you at least have that ability to throw it down the field.
Go ahead and toot away, because you've been proven right thus far, as the flag is going to push back South Gwinnett. So it's going to set up first and long. At the half, the Crisp County Cougars are leading the Northside Warner Robins Eagles 10-8. In the fourth quarter, Thomas County Central Yellow Jackets are up over Godby High School 41-0. A few more scores from across the street. It's Friday Night Lights in Georgia, as they'll give it off to Appling again. Appling stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Not much doing there. It'll set up second down.
Definitely a good idea to try to get these backs to the outside. And, you know, I have a great deal of respect for these running backs, considering they are about my height, really. 5'9", I'm, 5'8" on my best day. But these two running backs, both 5'9", and I could never imagine running through a hole at my size, and these two are doing it very well.
Shotgun look here on second and long, as there'll be a pump fake, now firing just past the marker, and that one just a bit too tall there for the intended receiver. Drops for third down. He's looking for Elijah McDowell, who came into the game with 8 catches, tied for the lead for the Comets.
And that was a good play, good design, and it was there. It was there because, well, the Blue Devils aren't expecting them to throw it down the field. Nate Miller's just got to do a better job of setting his feet and getting that ball on target.
So third down and 15 here. 9:52 remaining in the third quarter. Norcross looking for another defensive stop. Miller back to pass. Pocket collapsing on him, quickly hit as he throws, and that one falling incomplete. Fourth down, and just like that, a big opening stop for the Norcross defense. 5 plays, and they get off the field.
Yeah, definitely not the idea of what South Gwinnett and Coach Lamar wanted to see in this opening drive. They started out well. They got that pre-snap penalty, set them back, and that really derailed all the momentum they had. Just when you get out of down and distance and your rhythm gets disrupted, it's really hard to recover.
So that's going to give the Blue Devils the ball as well as retaining the lead here. Fourth down, punt on the way. Heavy rush coming, look out. Oh man, they're going to get him down near the 20-yard line. He couldn't even get the punt off.
And bad goes to worse, and I was going to mention that was the most awkward long snap I've seen. That was not a spiral. That was a duck of a long snap, and it just seemed to like float. There was no spin on it, and it was actually a very good job being able to corral that by Caviallo, but it just disrupted the timing. It took too long to get to him, and by the time he was able to actually get it in position to punt it, he had 4 Blue Devils right in his face.
Norcross will take over near the red zone. Ball being spotted at about the 27-yard line. First play, and it's a handoff. Getting the outside and plenty of space being taken down into the red zone. Nice carry for Amons.
And there's one of the guys we were talking about that needed to show up, Amons, and he does so on the first play for Norcross here in the second half. Good tackle there. Was looking for the number. I believe that was Daniel Hebert, number 27 out there, saving the touchdown, really.
Blue Devils will go from the pistol. Amon staying in the backfield. First down and 10 near the 16-yard line. Now they'll change formation. Direct snap, and taking it itself is going to be Watkins. Knifing his way forward, gaining a few yards.
Just wanted to
second and medium.
I was going to say, looking at the Daniel Hebert, he plays what Coach Lamar calls the weak pony position. So they play a 3-3-5. They got 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. So they got the cornerback, 2 cornerbacks, free safety, and a strong pony and a weak pony. Have you ever heard that?
I'm going to be honest, I've watched a lot of football, but I have not, as they will fire wide open into the end zone, sliding catch, and it's going to be caught for a touchdown. Flag is going to fly as it was Lawson Lucky on the catch. So the Georgia commit finds pay dirt, and that's going to be 6 more for the Blue Devils. We'll see about the flag.
I was going to say probably a little miscommunication between the 2 ponies out there because no one was covering Lawson Lucky.
Bit of trouble in the stable there, as that'll result in 6 points for Norcross, and that's the exact start that the Blue Devils are looking for, not taking their foot off the gas. And now we'll see about the PAT, but the current score, 33-18.
It looks like that was a celebration penalty. Don't exactly know what Lucky did to deserve that, but it's going to be accepted on the kickoff.
That Lawson Lucky's second receiving touchdown on the season, and the penalty looks like they said it was going to be enforced on the kickoff, and now it looks like they're going to make him trot back and try a longer PAT.
Yep. Coach Lamar changed his mind on that, decided to take the penalty on the PAT, so that's going to back up Drew Duva. who has a long field goal of 42 on the season, so still within his range, but definitely much tougher PAT.
Kick on the way. It certainly has the leg, and that one is drilled. Nice kick by Duva. And it puts the score at 34-18. So Lawson Lucky getting into the scorebook there with a touchdown early on here in the third quarter. 8:22 remaining, and a few more score updates as we have the Veterans Warhawks up 14-3 over the Northgate Vikings at the half, and the Glen Academy Terrors are trailing 28-7 against the Brunswick Pirates. But what'd you like out of that drive right there by Norcross, Colin?
I mean, this is what good teams do when they sense there's trouble, or they sense an opportunity to really, put a game out of reach. They take it. They don't let teams hang around longer than they need to, and you get the botch snap or whatever you want to call it, and punt was unable to be, it wasn't even a block punt, it was a tackle punter, but you get that break, and you had momentum going in the second half. You want to keep that. You don't want South Gwinnett to think that they can win this game, and that is exactly what Norcross was able to do, and this is the biggest challenge South Gwinnett has had all game, much more so than the 14-3 deficit, because now Norcross is starting to impose their will.
16-point game now. It is worth noting, still just a two-possession game, but the task becomes a whole lot taller as the kickoff will be booted towards the 5-yard line. It's going to be run out, and a little bit of space there on the return up to the 30, and maybe that's a shot in the arm that the Comets are looking for. 8:16 remaining, 34-18 your score, and another 3-play touchdown drive for the Blue Devils, making quick work on offense when they've been given the chance.
Yeah, I've definitely liked what I've seen out of Norcross. They've shown they can do it all, really, on offense. They have the big playability, but when they need to, they're able to drive it down the field in a much more methodical manner. They're just taking literally whatever South Gwinnett is giving them, and they have played a pretty flawless game so far, other than the muff punt, really. I keep going back to that muff punt, but without that.
As they'll do an end around to start the second drive of the half. And it looks like the ball came out at the end, a scramble for the football. Referees blowing their whistle. It's going to be a 2-yard gain. Going to set up 2nd and 8. Ball coming out, but he might have been down.
Yeah, that's what the sideline official ruled right away. He was on it, blowing his whistle, down by contact. So it is, like you said, a short 2-yard game. Comets cannot afford to get down any more than this.
It's Billingsley in the backfield now here on the second drive for the Comets. Going in motion is Carter, and now a flag coming in yet again, and that's been a problem thus far for the Comets. False start, that's going to set them back 5.
They're just making it harder on yourself, just basic, just stand still until the ball is snapped. I know it's easier said than done, but you cannot afford to shoot yourself in the foot here, down 34-18. All the momentum is on Norcross, and the thing is with South Gwinnett, they're not used to being this highly ranked 4-0. You got to show it's not a fluke.
They'll try a pass, a screenplay on second down. That one a pass intended for Billingsley, and into the backfield in a hurry. There's that man again, Royal, breaking it up with the hit, and it's 3rd and long. Royal with a great game thus far. He had the pick 6 in the first half, and then breaking up the screen here early on in the second half.
Yeah, South Gwinnett, they're trying to show that their 4-0 record is legit, and they are for real. Norcross is trying to tell them, though, hey, you're still a couple years away.
3rd and about 12, and immediately being pressured is Miller. Miller stepping up, going to take off himself down the sideline. Going to be very close, but he's going to be marked just a little bit short. So it's going to be 4th and 1, and now if you're the coach of the Comets, what do you do here? It's 4th and short. It's a 2-possession game. Do you consider going for it here in your own territory? Do you punt it away and trust your defense to get you the ball back?
Well, let me stop you there because it looked like he was short. I thought he was short. Head official says he got it.
Well, there you go. So, I guess sometimes the toughest questions don't need to be answered as they're going to move the chains, and that Miller scramble enough for a fresh set of downs, and that was big time right there. The Comets desperately needed that conversion.
Now, I don't know what Coach Lamar would have done, but I'll go ahead and answer your question. I would have gone for it. I feel like you could not afford to give the ball back to Norcross right now without scoring points.
They'll give it off to Billingsley. Not much doing. Stuffed at the line.
Well, it's a good thing that wasn't the 4th down play because that would not have gained the yard they needed.
Might have been ahead of schedule right there. No gain as we're now under 7 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. 6:53 and counting. 2nd and 10 for the Comets. Not the 4th play here on the drive.
And the way South Gwinnett moves the ball, I don't want to say they don't have the big play potential, but they have not had it tonight. So they need time on the clock to make this comeback.
Empty set now for Miller as the snap doesn't come.
Everyone moved but the center.
Not often you hear that call. Referees aren't mic'd up, so we won't be able to hear them say it, but a somewhat rare sighting as a false start before the snap even came in. So I'll set them back 5 again, and I'll admit I haven't been keeping track of how many false start penalties there are, but I have to imagine we're creeping close to double digits.
I was going to say, I don't think we're not. I can safely guesstimate, but it's got to be 6, 7, 8. It's just you're going back to the bare basics of football, and actually,
now, looks like they're moving up.
I don't understand how that was possibly the call.
Just imagine maybe a situation where a defensive player in the neutral zone drawing the offense off.
Drawing the whole offense off?
You never know.
That was
obviously
an
not down on that
offside.
field and can't hear the referee's words, but regardless, they're marking off as if it's an offsides, and now it's 2nd and 5. Miller hands it off again. Up the middle, and should be a 1st down. Referee's going to spot it right at midfield. That's where the 1st down marker was, and it is good to move the chains.
And, at this point in the game, the game plan for South Gwinnett doesn't need to change. They don't have to change how they play. They don't have to change their offense. They can keep going. But if they don't score and they get down more, then they're going to have to start taking shots, which is not their MO. This is why this is so important right here.
Receiver in motion. Miller, quick swing out that one to Appling. And Appling breaking a tackle and still on his feet. Nice chunk of yards right there. And now South Gwinnett starting to move the ball a little bit.
And don't mean to correct you, but that was actually A.J. Pickford.
Well, there you go, Pickford.
We were not used to calling his name. Appling was getting all the carries, but nope, that was 21, not 20. A.J. Pickford finally getting some plays out. But there's a flag, so I don't know if this is going to stand, but that was great. Because Pickford's showing why he is, right now, only offers from the University of South Florida, only a junior, though. And you got to imagine he's going to start getting more offers here as he continues to play the way he's been playing.
Well, I'll tip my cap to you there for the correction of, otherwise I would have been able to catch that. But yes, Pickford getting his first reception on the game. He had 7 coming in.
Although the penalty is on the Comets, so
guess they might wipe it away instead.
Hefty penalty. Looks like that was an offensive pass interference.
Certainly looks to be in that neighborhood as they're marking off a lot of yards, either offensive pass interference or a hold perhaps. Of course, holding is 10 yards from the spot of the foul, which is why it's not a perfect 10 yards. And it's actually going to be a block in the back, so nice assist to one of our friends here in the press box for helping us out with that. A block in the back, that's the call on the field. And that's going to set him way back here. 1st and 23. And it's 7 false starts as well, so big thank you there as we have had a few numbers come in. 7 false starts and counting on the Comets.
Man, That's a killer. Oh, they had first down yardage past the Blue Devils 40-yard line, and now they're backed up at their own 37 with, like you said, 1st and 23. Just got to take a deep breath. You don't need it all at once. You got 3, possibly 4 downs to get these 23 yards. So just got to get chunks. Just get a little bit at a time here.
Those numbers can be deceiving. You see 34-18. You score 1 touchdown, it's back to a 1-score game as they're going to have the quarterback keep it. Miller on the keeper. They sent Carter in motion. Going to be
you really wanted more than 1 yard on that first down and 23. That really limits your options here now. Got to get probably 10 yards here, I would say. You want it to be a 3rd and a distance that you've done before, which I don't think you've done many 3rd and 22. So you need at least 10.
Miller in the shotgun here. Have to imagine maybe a pass. Carter in motion again. Uh-oh, trouble with the snap. The ball is still loose. Bouncing around, a scrum for the ball. We'll see who has it. It looks like the Comets might have been able to fall on it, but some trouble right there, sending the man in motion. You can see one Blue Devil signaling as if they have the ball.
Yep, Comets have it.
And so the Comets are able to recover it, but that pushing them back even further. And man, oh man, we'll see what they officially rule on the scoreboard for the down and distance here. 3rd and a country mile. That's the best estimate I have right now.
3rd and a 1/3 of the field. But yeah, no, that good job. It's not a complete disaster as it would have been giving the Blue Devils the ball at your own 27-yard line, but it's looking like you're going to have to punt this away. So we're getting under 5 minutes now, 4:30 left in the 3rd quarter. Time's going to start becoming a factor here pretty soon.
Carter in motion again into the slot. Miller back to pass. Looking his way. Now he's going to step up. And once again, Miller with the scramble. Hard hit as a flag comes in. Still on his feet. Able to churn out a few more yards, but still 4th and impossible. We'll see about the flag.
Yeah, I don't know what this flag is going to be, but you got to hope that might be a bailout there if it's on the Blue Devils, but I don't know. That's kind of in the range of holding.
We'll see what the guys in stripes have to say.
You got to decline it, though, if it's on if it's on South Gwinnett, Norcross, you have to decline the penalty.
Absolutely. You have to feel like there's very little difference between 3rd and about 34 and 4th and 23. I'll take the 4th down.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. Holding declined. Holding on South Gwinnett declined by Norcross, so here comes the punt team.
4:13 remaining here in the 3rd quarter of play. Still a decent bit of game left. 34-18 your score with Norcross up on top, trying to play spoiler for South Gwinnett's homecoming. And they're going to get the ball back here midway through the 3rd.
So as you continually said throughout that drive, and it's important to note, 16 points is technically a 2-score game. It is on the very maximum 2-score amount.
That punt's able to be gotten away cleanly as it's going to be taken at about the 30-yard line up to maybe the 31 or 32. Possession changing hands there. We've seen a wild play on the punt. The punter getting tackled before he can even punt it, almost like a sack of the punter. And I've watched football a lot. That's something you don't see very often.
Nah, and there was just an awkward snap of the ball. It just took too long to get to the punter, unable to do anything. Punt was able to be, it was actually a very good punt for South Gwinnett, and Eric Caviola doing both kicking and punting duties. So Norcross on their own 32, but like I was saying, 16 points is 2 scores. You got just over 16 minutes, just under 16 total minutes left in this game. Can't get down 3 scores.
You have to imagine it might be chew clock territory, and right on cue, they're going to hand it off to Amons to open up the drive for the Blue Devils. So Ammons has been the lead back here for Norcross. As he had 30 carries coming into the game, and he's had a good deal of them here in this one. And that clock stopping with them out of bounds is at 3:44. Second at about 8.
Yeah, and South Gwinnett not used to being in this position.
Quick pass right there. That one going to be caught by Taylor. And he's going to be dragged back. Not much doing right there as it sets up a quick third down.
And this is the most points South Gwinnett has given up so far on the season. 34. Previous amount was 25 to Meadow Creek, but they scored 58 themselves in that game. So the 25 given up really didn't matter too much. This 34, though, we'll see what South Gwinnett has.
It's third down and 8 here for Watkins and company. And you have to imagine if South Gwinnett wants to claw their way back into the game, they have to get a stop right here. Can't let them keep chewing that clock up.
They definitely do have a strong defense, but it's going to be put to the test here.
And might this be A.J. Pigford territory? We talked about him during halftime. This will be a chance for him to pin his ears back and get after the QB. Quick release right there. That one caught short of the marker and going to be taken down. It's going to bring up fourth down. That was Lackey on the catch, and we've seen Jalen Lackey now with 2 catches. Listed as the starting quarterback, but playing both ways.
Sorry, no, that was actually Jalen Lackey. Sorry, that was me pointing that out to you, but no, Jalen Lackey made the great open field tackle on the catch. But hey, look at this. Norcross is
going to go for it. So here we go, 4th and about 2 in their own territory. And they're going to try and pick it up and keep this drive rolling. But first, it looks like we're going to have a timeout.
Yeah, no, Nakai Poole made the catch, but the Mississippi State commit was tackled by Jalen Lackey. Open field tackle to make it a 4th down. And I don't know about you, Eric, but it's risk-reward kind of thing is what you always have to gauge when you go 4th down. It's like, yeah, 4th and 2, that's very tempting. You want to keep the ball. You want to have that, that killer mentality. But if you don't get it, you give South Gwinnett something they haven't had at all in this second half, and that is momentum.
Absolutely. Well, if you ask any stat nerd, they're going to tell you, always go for it. You plug in the numbers and you talk about 4th down. Usually percentages in advanced stats will come out to usually more beneficial. But you're right, those stats can't measure a momentum swing. And man, oh man, if the Comets can get a stop right here, all of a sudden they get the ball back in enemy territory, well within range to try and get a touchdown and cut it to a 1-score game. So this looks like now they have the punt team out. So maybe just trying to draw them off sides. And they will punt it away. That one, a pretty good one. It's going to be fair caught at the 20. So about the same as a touchback as the Comets get the ball back.
I was going to say, Coach Malouf, he's got plenty of experience, and, sometimes discretion is the better part of valor there, and he definitely was thought about it, considered it, and being like, you know what, Colin, you're right. We don't want to give South Gwinnett any momentum.
Well, who knows? Maybe one of the people holding a tablet down on the sideline, they have this game up right now, and they say, this Colin fellow, he makes a pretty good point. Let's set the punter out there.
I mean, you have a punter for a reason. You don't have to give him the ball back at your own 40-yard line. So now they got 80 yards to travel instead of the 40 to cut this to a 1-score game.
Miller in the shotgun, dropping back. Quick release, that one in and out of the hands of Carter.
That is the 3rd throw we've seen in and out of the hands of a Comet receiver.
And it's just been one of those games between the drops and a few penalties, just shooting themselves in the foot at times, you feel. But yet, they've been able to hang right in there. The door not shut just yet. 2nd and 10.
Definitely mistakes have been made by the Comets, but you can't be thinking about that right now. You just got to think what's ahead of you.
2nd and 10, another drop back. Moving around and now taking off again. Another scramble for Miller as he'll get a few and set up 3rd and about 7.
Good job getting positive yardage there by Nate Miller. Really got wrapped up in the backfield, but able to spin around and just carry the defenders, fall forward. That's what you're always taught as a runner. You fall forward, you get hit, fall forward, you gain at least 2-3 yards, and that's what Miller did there.
Especially with that big 6'4" frame.
Yeah.
3rd and 7, big play here in the waning moments of the third quarter. Miller over the middle again, and that one is going to be caught, I believe. And some people are signaling incomplete, and now they're going to say he dropped it. So that one nearly caught. He was looking for Carter again. Would have picked up the first down, but now it's 4th down.
Yeah, it was a double clutch there by Carter. He had it, and then it was close. He almost was able to corral it in time, but it did look like that hit the ground, and the officials were right on it. Both back judges calling that incomplete.
So a 3-and-out. Good answer there for the Blue Devils as they stamp that drive out in its tracks. Minute 12 remaining here in the third quarter, and another punt upcoming. Snap getting there as the rush nearly got there. It's going to be a short and wobbly punt, bouncing around, and that one's not going to leave Comet territory as it's going to be touched down at the 46. So we'll turn the ball back over now to the Blue Devils as Watkins will come back out. Under a minute remaining here, and good chance to maybe try and get some insurance points if you're the Blue Devils.
I'm going to say this. Blue Devils, fantastic field position, starting in plus territory. They're up 16. South Gwinnett hasn't done anything with the football on offense so far in the second half. Norcross scores here, I think the game's over.
Yeah.
I don't see South Gwinnett scoring 3 times in the fourth quarter.
That is a pretty tall task, to say the least. We'll see if they can try and put the call and nail in the coffin, as the first play of the drive is going to be a run for no gain.
And that is exactly what the defense needs to do. No margin for error with the opponent starting on your own 46-yard line, and they don't give up a single yard.
2nd and 10 now, still at the 46. Watkins fakes the handoff. He'll take it himself on the keeper. Getting around towards the near sideline. Nice gain right there. Scamper of about 8 or so. 7 or 8, and it'll set up 3rd and a lot more manageable. Looks like they'll officially spot it at the 39-yard line.
So Norcross, their last possession, thought about going for it on their own 38. They are now on the Comets 39. And despite the score, this is the part of the field where no man's land, your punt really doesn't do much. Out of field goal range, feel like they have 2 downs here. There's 2 downs for them.
And a play call like that might prove you right there, indicate that they're in 4-down territory. It's going to be taken up the middle again, and winding around is Watkins. He's going to be close, and it looks like from the spot they might give it to him.
Yep.
So they might not even need to go to 4th down as they pick it up on the QB keeper. And it's a fresh set of downs, depending on the spot, but it's looking promising for the Blue Devils. And there it is. They will move the chains. 14.3 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Clock stops as they move the chains. Now it's going to wind, and it looks like it will take it to the fourth quarter here as the clock winds down. And we're going to send it down out to the sideline with Destiny. Just a moment here. Destiny, what have you got for us? All right, thanks as always for that, Destiny. Back in the booth here as we're about to start the fourth quarter. Score at 34-18. Colin, what are you looking for here in the fourth quarter for both these teams?
South Gwinnett, we said at halftime, of course you play to win, but this is a non-region game. Doesn't matter towards playoff standings. So if you're South Gwinnett, win or lose, you need to do something on offense. You need some kind of rhythm, momentum heading into your region schedule. You got up next, it is at Parkview, which is a tall order, tough way to start your region schedule, and you want to get some good feelings coming into the game. But if you stop Norcross here, I mean,
first down play is going to be blown dead, and now we have a false start going the other way. So add to the count, as it'll set them back 5. First and 15.
Norcross does have a very good kicker, Drew Duva, 3 for 3, long of 42 on the season. So they are very close to his range, and field goal makes it 19, 3 scores.
And that might be all she wrote.
Very well could be.
Watkins will come out here in what almost looks like the pistol formation. Running back not directly behind him, though. 3 receivers to his left. Michael Lamons is in the backfield, the leading running back for the Blue Devils. And we've seen a lot of him tonight. And they'll fake to give to him as Watkins will keep it. Wrapped up. Nice gang tackle right there. A few yards to bring up second and about 13 or so.
So really one more first down and you would be in Drew Duva's range. So it's really, like, the time is now for South Gwinnett's defense. Get off the field, get your offense back on. So really this drive for Norcross decides whether or not South Gwinnett is playing to feel good about themselves or actually playing to win.
South Gwinnett with 4 takeaways last week, 3 picks and a fumble recovery. They could really use one right here, as they will hand it off to Poole on the jet sweep. Minimal gain, 3rd and long, and now big time down right here for the South Gwinnett defense.
That was a great tackle there by Darius Owens, a free safety committed to Akron. Able to bring down the shifty Nakai Poole, pardon. Akron free safety taking down the Mississippi State wide receiver.
3rd and 11, they call it on the scoreboard. Big time play in this juncture in the game. It's Poole going in motion. He's in the slot. Watkins rolling out, pressure in his face. He gets it off, a little bit of misdirection. Is that one caught by Lucky? Lucky staying on his feet after making the first man miss, but being wrapped up quickly. The ball comes out as they're going to take it down the other way, but it looks like the whistle blew the play dead. But regardless, it's a big-time stop right there for South Gwinnett as they force Norcross into a tricky 4th down.
I feel like it's that part of the field where you normally go for it, but not when it's 4th and 14. You want to pin South Gwinnett back, but great job by the defense there. That was Jalen Lackey making the tackle on Lawson Lucky. Lackey on Lucky. So, forcing the punt, keeping it within reach. Hope is still alive here for the Comets.
And you have to imagine this is maybe going to be the deciding drive right here for this Comet offense.
9:30 left in the ball game, so yeah, there's not time for 3 scoring drives.
Duva punts it away. That one carrying out towards the end zone, taking a nice bounce and just getting by. And it'll be a touchback. Oh, man, nearly pinning them right where they wanted them.
Oh, man, if you're Drew Duva, what are you doing? Your hands are... Yeah, it was a perfect punt. All you had to do was down it, and for whatever reason, the Blue Devils just watched it go into the end zone. So, hey, break for the Comets. You're not pinned back inside your 5 like you should have been. You're at the 20. You see, I mean, you said it. 9:23 left. really don't think there's time for 3 drives.
Yeah.
So if you're down 2 scores, you need to score on both of your drives.
You essentially need to do 2 game-winning drives over the course of the remainder of the game. And for Nate Miller, this is a big one right here. Receiver in motion. Miller will fake the give and keep it himself. And he's wrapped up very quickly. No gain on first down. There's no John Candy in the stands for Miller to point out in the huddle, but if you're the quarterback right now of South Gwinnett, what do you do to kind of rally your guys and try and get a scoring drive going?
Well, if you're Miller, he's been trying to do a lot on his own, which he has done all season, and he's very capable of taking it on the ground and through the air, but you have receivers, you have talented guys, you got to spread the ball around here.
2nd and 10, Miller going to throw that one up, and that one a pretty ball, nearly caught. That one intended for a spinning Pierre Ford, and it's going to bring up 3rd down. Nearly a phenomenal throw and catch.
I was going to say that there was a chance. It would have been a difficult catch, but it was definitely there for the taking. But Taiwan Royal, Mr. Pick 6, North Dakota State commit, was there on the coverage, blanketing Pierre Ford.
And he's had himself a great game as, of course, you mentioned the pick 6, blowing up that screen in the 3rd quarter and just overall doing a good job of quieting the receivers of this Comet offense. Here's a big 3rd and 10. Miller back to pass again, running out of time. Quickly, down he goes. Ball is out, scooped up, and it's going to be taken into the house. A scoop and score, 6 more for the Blue Devils. And that might do it. And that's going to be Andre Thompson on the scoop and score. A defensive touchdown for Thompson, the backup Sam linebacker. And you have to imagine, now with 40 on the board, that'll be the game sealer.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, we got 8:25 on the clock, all 3 timeouts for South Gwinnett, but they haven't scored a single point. I don't think they've gotten across the 50-yard line yet.
You have to tip your cap to this Blue Devil defense. They certainly have come to play today. Now their 2nd defensive touchdown on the game, as the extra point is up and good. 41-18 your score here. 8:25 remaining in the 4th quarter, and now you have to imagine for South Gwinnett, they're playing for pride.
Yeah, exactly. You're playing for pride. You're playing for momentum. You're playing. You're pretty much preparing for Parkview at this point. That's what you're doing. The game, it's 25 points. You need, like I said, they haven't done anything on offense in the 2nd half. So you need to do something on offense because Parkview is the same caliber of team as Norcross is. So you got to show yourselves that you can play against the big boys here. You're unexpected, you're a surprise, you're a good story, but now's the time to show that you belong. And you start right now.
Seems to have been statement games these past 2 weeks. Buford, they were trailing at the half against Carver, 16-15 in that one, and Buford able to pull away in the 2nd half, and now sort of a statement game for Norcross. They started out the season 0-2, and should this result hold, they will move to 3-2. Norcross coming into this game winning the previous 4 meetings, and they're looking to make it 5 straight.
And I was going to say, if you're looking at the roster, you look at everything, the rankings. I mean, 40, they're right next to each other, but you would expect Norcross to win. It's not super surprising that Norcross is winning right now. Maybe the score differential is a bit of a surprise, but Norcross, on paper, should have won this game, and it looks like they will. But South Gwinnett's a very good team, and they've got a lot of good teams on their schedule ahead of them. So it's prove-it time. It's prove-it time right now. Because Norcross is still going to play. They're not going to let South Gwinnett get anything, so you got to earn it.
Kickoff is booted, carrying out towards the end zone and bouncing into the end zone for the instant touchback. So they'll set up the drive at the 20-yard line. First down and 10 now for Miller and the Comets.
So pretty much bottom line, don't hang your head. If you're Nate Miller, you're the Comets, no time to hang your head. You got to play like a 0-0. And that's the thing. It's out of the reach where there's really no point in trying to play outside of yourself. Just get a solid drive going. Get first downs. That's all you're doing right now. That's all Coach Lamar is telling Nate Miller and his offense. Just go out, get first downs, and we'll take it from there.
8:25, and we'll see how many first downs that the Comets can muster on this drive. 3 receivers to the right now after the motion man, and he's going to get the pass swung out. And a medium-sized gain there on first down should set up about 2nd and 6 or so. And I believe that was Ford in motion and getting the catch.
Yep, good play. You got about half of a first down, which is what you want on first down. You want to get it to 2nd and 4. Stay on schedule.
2nd and 5, and they certainly are on schedule. And it's going to be a handoff up the middle. That one to Billingsley, running behind his pads, and he's going to move the chains. First down.
There you go. Just get first downs. That's all you're doing right now if you're South Gwinnett. Just get first downs and, see what happens.
Billingsley does have a rushing touchdown on the game as well, and it was a nice one. That was earlier on in the first half. They'll hand it off to him again. Stuffed at the line, being driven back, pile driven, I should say, into the turf.
And that
maybe a gain of 1.
Big old Shaquan McKnight on the tackle, just eliminating any momentum there.
5'9", 275 pounds. I gotta say, I would not want to get tackled by him.
So we got a running back, defensive tackle, exact same height, about 100 pounds of difference.
Football is a contact sport, ladies and gentlemen. Under 7 minutes now, 6:55 and counting. It's 2nd and 10. Miller will fake the handoff, play action, firing over the middle, and the ball spilling out just at the end. Nearly an impressive catch. It's going to bring up 3rd down, and slow to get up is Carter. Now he's going to go down onto the turf near midfield.
And that's
actually
A.J. Pickford.
That was Pickford, not Carter, so apologies about that.
So we're talking about preparing for your region. You definitely want A.J. Pickford healthy for your region. So this is something Comet fans, you never want to see a player hurt. But man, Pickford does so much for your team. You got to be holding your breath here if you're on the bleachers on the South Gwinnett side.
Yeah,
got to hope that's just a little bit of a shaken up kind of thing. But man, he did get hit hard. We'll see.
Well, he has been helped up now as he's hobbling towards the sideline, getting a nice ovation. At least for the moment, walking on his own power, so that's always good to see.
Honestly, if I'm Coach Lamar, I don't want to see Pickford anymore. Even if he's good to go, that was a scary enough moment. He is a huge chunk of your team.
You have to imagine, especially in the waning moments of this game, that he might just get a breather for the rest of this one. Miller firing again. That one caught. That one's Carter, as he's going to be wrapped up quickly and aggressively. And he's going to be spotted just short of the marker.
That was Lionel Burns, the cornerback, on the tackle there, just stopping Carter in his tracks. But good route, good throw there by Miller to create this 4th and a single yard.
And as expected, the offense is going to stay out there on 4th and short. As we're approaching the halfway mark of the 4th quarter, 6:10 and counting. They'll go for it. Flags fly as Miller will keep it. And now going the other way, being pushed back. We'll see about the flag.
Well, it's going to depend on the penalty because he did not gain the yardage.
So something for the referees to sort out here. We have to imagine that if it is on South Gwinnett, the penalty would be declined and the Blue Devils would happily take the ball. Referees gesturing over towards the sideline. Have not moved the chains at all yet. Of course, the down dial showing 4th down.
So the ref called the illegal formation and ruled, did the still 4th down, so was it a...
What, oh, if it's illegal formation, then the play is blown dead before the snap.
I think that's what they're ruling, so they're...
Similar to a false start.
So South Gwinnett's going to have the ball still be 4th and 6. You got to imagine they're going to go for it again.
And it looks like they will as that clock continues to wind. 5:50 and counting showing on the scoreboard.
Well, actually, the white flag has been waved.
So there you go. They are going to punt it away and give the ball back to the Blue Devils. It's Caviolo to punt. And he gets that one off. That one bouncing around, bouncing near the 35 and going to be scooped up in a bit of a lane there as the returner will work their way into South Gwinnett territory. On the return, it was Zion Taylor. Taylor with a kick return touchdown on the game and nice punt return there as well. So 5:24 now remaining, and you have to imagine for the Blue Devils, just run some plays, maybe get a few first downs like we were talking about for the other drive, and just let that clock run.
Yeah, this is just a matter of running down the clock now. If it wasn't apparent already, punting on a 4th and 6, South Gwinnett has conceded the defeat. So now we just have 5 minutes and 24 seconds.
Majority of the first team looks to still be out there. Watkins is the quarterback as he hands it off up the middle for not much, maybe a gain of 1.
Yeah, and
that Amon's on the carry.
That is a little surprising considering the score and time and the fact that your most important games are ahead of you, that you have your number 1 still in. We'll see how long that lasts if Coach Maloof decides to put in the backups.
2nd and maybe 9.5 as they'll hand it off again. It's Amon's again on the carry. Gain of maybe 2. Actually called about a gain of 1. Sets up about 3rd and 8. And that clock continuing to wind now at 4:30. Actually, that was Laji Taylor on the carry, so apologies about that, as another one of those Blue Devils getting the carry. You mentioned 6 different ball carries last week, and off my first estimate, I believe they're at 5 today.
So we have started to see some backups come in. Taylor listed as the number 3 running back on the depth chart.
3rd and about 8, and they'll fake to give to Taylor. Quarterback will take it himself. Gain of 1, and it brings up 4th down, and that's Zaire Goff. Goff, the backup for Watkins, checking in, and right as you said, a few of the second team members coming into the game here for the Blue Devils.
So I think Maloof realized once this drive started being like, wait, hold on. Okay. Because it took literally 2 plays for the backups to get in.
So now on 4th down, outside of field goal range, it looks like for the moment Goff and the offense are out on the field.
And you would say, some might say, what are you doing? You're running up the score, sportsmanship, whatever, this, and that. But at this point in the field, and also the fact that you have your backups in, and your backups are playing, and you want to give them, it's like a preseason game. You want to practice situational stuff. And if for whatever reason you need Goff later in the season to convert a fourth down, give him a shot here so he knows what to do and knows how to. So yeah, but as I say all of that, it looks like the punter comes.
I do like that preseason analogy, though, but it does look like that they're going to trot the punt team out there as Duva swings his leg.
Like, if the starters were out on the field, I would say that's poor sportsmanship. But if you got your backups in, I would say just play it like it's a closer ball game. But you know what? Maloof's a classy guy, and he's going to punt it away.
And it actually looks like they have a different punter out there as well. Number 14, Dylan Muhammad. And he will punt that one. A nice-looking one as it bounces, getting close towards the goal line. They're going to down it pretty much right at the one. So how about that?
We made an audible.
Coming in, and he's going to slam his shoulder there in celebration. Nice punt. And it pins him way, way back. 3:03 remaining here, and the ball will be back in the hands of the Comets. Maybe one final drive for South Gwinnett to try and cap off this game on a positive note. Second team came in for the Blue Devils, and we'll take a look and see who comes in here for the Comets.
So
as it looks like Miller and company, the first team, will remain out on the field. And Miller will head out in the shadow of his own goalpost.
You can start. See, you can start heading down. I'll take over. Yeah, that's what the call is. So South Gwinnett's taken over here. 2 minutes, 53 seconds left. And we've got so it is still Nate Miller in. So the Comets, as mentioned, taking it up, trying to get some momentum as we head into region play coming up next week. The last non-region game for both of these two teams. Going to have post-game coverage. Eric Tiongson going down to interview the Norcross head coach Keith Maloof after the game, so I am taking over play-by-play duties here up in the booth as we're just running down the clock here. Good win for the Blue Devils. 3 straight, getting up to 3-2. South Gwinnett losing their first game. They're going to fall to 4-1, but still a lot of games, a lot of important games, really the entire season ahead of both of these teams as they get into the meat of the region schedule. And this is Appling with a quality run up to the 21-yard line. And so, in case you're just joining us, next week, South Gwinnett starts their region play off at Parkview. And Norcross already has a region game under their belt. They beat Discovery 37-0. They will host Duluth next week. And Appling's able to gain the edge. Good run for the first down. Up to the 36-yard line. And it looks like penalty's going to bring it back. And if it wasn't apparent, penalties have really done South Gwinnett in this ball game. I don't have the exact statistics, but it seems like every time South Gwinnett, at least in the second half, has started getting anything going, even just a little bit, a penalty has just derailed everything. And why change anything as we approach the end of the game? And another flag, and let's hope this game doesn't get real chippy here. Game is out of reach. We got just over a minute 5 left in the ball game. Norcross 41, South Gwinnett 18. We'll check this flag. It's a personal foul on South Gwinnett and also on Norcross. Offsetting penalties. Good job by the officials just trying to keep everything under control. We just got 65 seconds before we all get out of here. And so Miller's going to take the snap here. And of course, stay with us after the final buzzer as we will have Coach Keith Maloof joining Eric Tiangason, our play-by-play guy. He did a wonderful job. I'm Colin Oakes, the color commentator, taking over for Eric as he prepares for his post-game interview. Stay tuned for that. Looking forward to hearing from Coach Maloof on a big win for the Norcross Blue Devils, 3 straight, now pushing their record to 3-2. As a first down run by Appling. Clock stops momentarily. Got a little Lil John going here in the stands as everyone's starting to clear out. Little bittersweet homecoming night for South Gwinnett, but a very strong opponent. Norcross Blue Devils, no shame into losing to Norcross for sure. Appling takes that up the middle, gets to the 40, just off the guard to the left side. And that looks like that's going to be the final play of the ball game. Final score is going to be the Norcross Blue Devils 41, South Gwinnett Comets 18. Comets held scoreless in the second half. Norcross moves to 3-2 on the season. South Gwinnett dropped its first game, falling to 4-1. South Gwinnett begins region play next week at Parkview. Norcross will host Duluth. Good game. Norcross was just able to impose their will. Too many penalties for the Comets. And again, stick with us as we will kick it down here to Eric Tiangson, looking for Coach Keith Maloof. But the big takeaway here is 2 defensive scores, first of all, for Norcross. We had the great interception there, the good old tip drill by Taiwan Royal going to North Dakota State. He gets the pick 6, and that was right before the half. Really just killing all the momentum South Gwinnett was able to get up into that point. They had an 18-15 lead. That pick 6 expanded the lead up to 27. 18-14, pardon. It was 27 after a very methodical drive there for Norcross, after Norcross was able to score a 74-yard touchdown run to open the game by A.J. Watkins. Norcross only had the ball 90 seconds on offense the entire first quarter. Did not have much going for them. Heavy hitting plays, had a kick return touchdown, so they're scoring points, but not in the traditional fashion. South Gwinnett was able to have a more methodical offense. Were able to overcome the 14-3 deficit, able to get the lead 18-14. Norcross was able to respond, touchdown drive of their own, and then of course the aforementioned pick 6 right before the half made it 27-18 at the half, and no scoring available for South Gwinnett in the second half. Another scoop and score fumble was able to be accomplished there for Norcross. 2 total defensive touchdowns no defensive touchdowns coming into this game for Norcross. They get 2, and that's a big difference, big part of the 25-point win, 41-18 part, and that's 23. Again, math not my strong suit, but 23-point win there for Norcross. They are on top. Good game by Watkins. You know, it was not a bad game by Miller as well. AJ Pickford, hope he's going to be okay. We saw him having to walk off the field late in the ball game. He is definitely their star player for South Gwinnett. Really not much more to say here. All the teams are huddling, as you can see on our broadcast. Gonna give Coach Malouf his time with his players. Really anxious to see what he has to say, because his team did. It's weird to say they got off to a slow start, considering they were winning 14-3, but offense wasn't doing much. It was one broken play, one good play, and then they get to the kickoff return touchdown. But it was really South Gwinnett who was controlling the pace of the game. Time of possession, everything was in favor of South Gwinnett in that first quarter and a half. And then Norcross got their rhythm. Their offense had a very good long drive, give their defense some rest, and then the pick 6 by Lewis, just total game changer. South Gwinnett couldn't do anything after that. Norcross showed why they are one of the premier teams in Georgia high school football, doing what good teams do. They were able to find themselves in the middle of the game, got the momentum going into the half, and really never relinquished it, never let South Gwinnett get anything going in that entire second half. So good win for the Blue Devils, showing all is right with the world. The 0-2 start was not indicative of the talent on this team. They are 3-2. South Gwinnett 4-1. South Gwinnett, you could argue, a little ahead of schedule. No one really expecting them to be 4-0. Very few people outside of that South Gwinnett locker room. But Coach Brian Lamar is doing great things, and this team is going to be good for a long time. And we'll see how good they are this season. But 4-1 is a very strong record. No shame in losing to the Blue Devils. And Coach Malouf gonna wait on interviews here. Looking at Eric down on the field, and we seem to be about ready to kick it to him, which is good because I'm getting a little tired of talking here. And hold on one second, we're gonna kick it down to Eric here right now. Joining Eric. Yep, kick it down. And here's Eric Tiangason down on the field.
down here with Lawson. Lawson had a nice touchdown grab there in the third quarter. How did you manage to get open?
We dialed it up. We talked about a halftime. We moved the motion over. There was people coming down. Showed us. We still came away with a commanding dub. It felt good.
All right, thanks for that. Best of luck. All right, well, that's all for tonight here. Once again, your final score from Snellville. It's a big victory here on homecoming night as Norcross plays spoiler. 41-18, your final score. The Norcross Blue Devils with the victory over the South Gwinnett Comets. For NBC 11 Alive and for Born to Compete, I'm Eric Tionkson. Thank you all for tuning in tonight and hope to see you all again soon.